Yeah, we got Blade Brizown up in the hizzle for shizzle. Malcolm up in the hizzle for shizzle. What's poppin' with you, Playboys? Yeah, and we back. Live and direct, in full motherfucking effect. You know, we get down with the get down on Tree TV Radio. Yeah. Say what? She may have that thing, huh, Blizzade? You ain't trying to do no rekindling nothing right now, huh? Yeah, man, they said that Rona spreading, man. But we about to get some accurate updates and reports from the people, man. We can't believe nothing that news is telling us. Putting out a bunch of misinformation, contradicting themselves. Hey, what do we believe? I think I can believe the people. We're giving accurate accounts. You know. Hey, she in the hospital, Blade? They text her and ask her, is the hospital full of people with the coronavirus? That right there seemed to be a popular subject. We get reports from people down there with their cell phones taking video of empty emergency rooms. Empty. Not one or two people. Empty. So it's like, hey man, I don't know what to believe. I just don't know. Yeah. I don't know anymore. Do me one favor though, hit that like button. Trying to get out the notifications. I guess the notification system is not working here on YouTube. I don't even get notifications from people, so I know damn well people ain't getting mine. So I'm gonna try to share this video right now, get the word out there. You know. You ain't never lied, Blade. You did say that. I think people was getting the misconception that you were saying that the hoax, it was a hoax in the sense of that the coronavirus wasn't real. And you were just saying in the sense of they trying to over pump it up. Trying to make it seem it's bigger than what it really is to scare people. And you're right. That seeming was to be true, like it's some super duper scare tactic. Who is Duncan? You say Duncan on dialysis? Said they about to lock Cali down, Blade. That's the word I got from some of my peoples, man. I don't know how true that is, but I hear they about to lock California completely down and enforce the martial law, like strictly, like can't nobody be outside. So I don't know, man. We shall see as we proceed to give you what you need.
Hello, Ken.
Yay. What's up with it, Miss Liz Giles? We got Miss Liz Giles on the line right now. How you doing, Liz?
I'm great. This is a great time for me to talk, actually.
Oh, yeah? Oh, cool
Yeah.
deal. We're happy we can catch up with you. What time is it out there in Australia?
It is 7:02 a.m.
Oh, 7:02 a.m. Oh, okay. I got you right early up in the morning. Did you have your coffee yet?
No, I haven't even got out of bed yet. I'm still in bed.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm really happy that I'm not on video.
Cool deal. So, man, I know you got a lot to bring us up to date on, man. So it's like, where do we start,
Oh my goodness,
man?
so much has happened here. So our infection rate, let's get into just the numbers here at the moment. The infection rate has gone down. Don't know why. I think it's gonna go back up next week. So the infection rate's gone down, which means we still have our schools open, we still have childcare open. Then the government goes and sends a big FU to me last night and announces free childcare for 6 months for the whole country. I can't even tell you how devastating that is to people like my team who work in childcare. We wanted to close us. We wanted them to do the stop the spread. They've put the country in a level 3 lockdown, so you can't go and do all these things out in public, but suddenly you can use childcare all you want. And to us, that makes no sense. So why would you have it that you can't be in groups of more than 2, but you can go to childcare? So every single rule that they've now made for our country is exempt in childcare. So it's just unbelievable. So what's happened overnight for my team, we had barely any children in childcare, and now all the enrollments, they're all coming back because we've had our kids in a lockdown for a couple of weeks at home, and we have the school holidays 1 week away here. We were, as I said, the whole world here was hoping they would use the holiday period to actually pause the country and then get like New Zealand, get our infection rate down by having us all locked up, socially isolated, and it would drop the rates. and they've done the opposite. I don't know why they have done this, but the Prime Minister has said you can't do this, 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 and this, but if you're in childcare, it's safe. Use childcare. We're giving it to you for free for 6 months. And it's just like, so with everyone in the industry that works in it is a little devastated. Then there's the actual financial hit to the provider. So I'm a provider. I charge a minimum of $55 a day, which is usually funded by half the parent. So the parent pays half, the government pays half of that bill. And it's up to $75 when we take them on excursions and we take them out and we do all sorts of really cool activities, right? The government has said we can't charge anybody anything. They're just going to pay us, the provider, what we want. And what they're going to pay us is $37.50. So they have put these restrictions in. We can't take the children in any public places. We can't get providers in to help us entertain the kids because this is all about social distancing, right? We've got to just have the children in our care for 10 hours a day now. You can't do anything. We can't even play on play equipment. We can't, I think we can play with sports equipment because we can disinfect it ourselves, but that's pretty much all we can do. So our sector of this country is now going to have children in childcare. You're not allowed to do 3/4 of what you're normally allowed to do. If it's up to 10 hours a day, and you can bet your bottom dollar everybody's going to send them for as much time as they can just to get a break. And the government is going to pay us the same fees that we used to charge 15 years ago. So to say that everybody in my sector doesn't feel shafted is an understatement. We are not allowed to close. If we close, they cut all of our funding off for everything. They are forcing us to stay open. They say it's for essential workers. Not one person I know have a problem with working for essential workers. That doesn't become the issue. The issue is currently we don't even have maybe 2% of our children be essential worker parents. The irony is all of our essential worker parents are keeping their kids at home. We've got the parents with the naughty kids. We had a mum the other day in the service where I was present, and I said, why are her kids here? Because she's not an essential service worker. And they said, oh, she's at home working from home, but doesn't want the kids around because she finds them too distracting. So she isn't practicing the keep your kids at home motto. She's practicing the I can't be around these children, so I'm sending them to school, to childcare, because school is still on here for another week. And then she's at home working from home. And so it's like we feel very used. This sector of this country feels very used at the moment. The school teachers will get to go on a 2-week break in 1 week's time, which they definitely need. And so the schools will at least be closed down, but childcare still keeps going. So that's my first rant. And then we get to get paid what we charged 15 years ago. 15 years ago is the rate we're going to get paid. So that is super annoying. But I guess because we can't take the kids anywhere and do any of the really super cool stuff, we can't even cook with the kids. We can't even do an activity where you can cook with them because you can't risk the spread of someone breathing the wrong way over the food. So we can't cook. We can do very, very basic craft if we can ensure that it was in an individual package before the kids got it. So, yeah, it's super, super messy. My staff and I had a team meeting on Zoom last night. So we had like 20 people on this screen. It was crazy. And we want to be there for the essential workers. We have no issue with that. It's all the constraints, all of the fact that the reality is the essential workers aren't the ones who are going to use this the most. And, yeah, it's very, very frustrating. So that's one thing that's going on. Going on a national level, the targets that I had posted and predicted 3 weeks ago, we were meeting them. Every single indicator, every day that we did the indicator meetings, which was every 4 days, our numbers were doubling. It didn't hit the indicator on Tuesday. So my prediction was 6,000 infected for Australia, and we didn't reach it. We just got over to 4.5. So the infection rate has dropped in our country, but my prediction is next week it will heat up again, and possibly the week after. The reason I say that is 2 weeks ago, remember it takes 2 weeks for this thing to incubate wherever you go. 2 weeks ago, I was in Sydney. I mean, I was literally walking around with gloves on, and I probably looked like some sort of Fruit Loop 2 weeks ago in Sydney, walking around in gloves because nobody else was. But if I got out of my car in Sydney, I was wearing gloves. I didn't take a chance touching anything with my actual skin. And then as soon as I went to get back in my car, I discarded the gloves. And I sanitized my steering wheel, my gear shift and everything. So I was taking precautions that I don't think most of the city was taking at that time, because no one was taking this seriously. They were all thinking this was some disease far, far away. Those people, now our numbers have spiked since then in the last 2 weeks. I believe Sydney is about to get hit big time with a spike in the infection rate because of those practices 2 weeks ago. So nobody took it seriously. There was no social distancing. Everyone was at the park, in crowds, having picnics, having gatherings. You saw people standing at the lights to cross the road, all bundled up, all bunched up as they cross. I was horrified, to say the least. I was like, oh my God, we were only in a level 2 lockdown at that point, and I was just like, nobody's taking anything seriously. So, watch and believe, Sydney should hit a peak next week or the week after, based on their non-practice of everything that's been recommended. So now we're in a level 3 lockdown because our numbers have, gone up. It's nothing compared to America. Absolutely nothing. What's happening in America is absolutely predicted. If I, an Australian, on the other side of the planet with some of my friends in America who are number crunchers, and we've been tracking the virus for 5 weeks, we knew what's happening in New York is going to happen in New York. We knew it, and if Trump wants to pretend that they didn't know, they're uninformed, he's lying, flat out lying. If I can figure it out 5 weeks ago, and then we've been meeting the targets for 3 weeks straight, then the government knew. The fact that he's actually making the states over there individually compete for the same stuff on like the equivalent of eBay, where they have to outbid each other, is fully disgusting. It's not, like video game cartridges or something. It's personal protective gear and ventilators to keep people alive. You have, I don't know how many Republicans listen to this, but I'm sorry, Republicans, you have a criminal in the White House who doesn't give a flying hell about the people who live there. What China did when they allowed this virus to leave Wuhan in the first place was disgusting, but that would be to be expected from the Chinese government. The Chinese government have their own agenda about world domination, and they're very much on their way to doing it. The other thing that's concerning, that's going on behind the scenes at the moment, there's several different things going on that I'm reading on all sorts of different pages, economist pages, political pages, government pages, because remember, being a provider here, I get access to government documents that not the average person gets access to. And I have some friends who work in the government in Washington as well. And while we can't go into specifics, we exchange some very vague information, but you get the drift. What's going on over there in America at the moment, and happened in Italy, when Italy hit its peak with its death rate, even though its death rate's still high, the death rate's gone down. When they were going, it was 800 or 900 people dying a day. China started to aggressively buy businesses over there, and had started this campaign for a couple of weeks while the world, if the world of Italy was distracted with this epidemic and this mass death and sickness, war zone, I think is the only way you can describe it. They're behind the scenes purchasing loads and loads of business over there and acquiring them. And I'm not even sure why the government didn't suspend all that, because our government has. As of this week, our government has stopped any foreign purchasing of business and ownership, period, as we go into the epidemic. But anyway, it didn't happen in Italy, so they've gone up and bought them up big. That is a real concern, because the more power China has in your commercial industry as we move forward, the more political power that they're going to want to have. Do I think this is an accident? 100% no. Do I think that this was planned? Absolutely. By who? I have no clue.
Hey,
but what is going...
I got a quick question for you from somebody up in the room. Hold on, we got a quick question. They says, can someone ask her, does she know anyone personally that has it? And if she does, ask her, do they smoke weed? I don't know anyone personally that has it, but you've got to remember, over here in Australia, we only have several hundred people in hospital. It's not bad here yet. We haven't even hit anything of what we're seeing in America. It's not here yet. We're like 3 weeks, 4 weeks behind America. It's going to hit here. That's why I said from next week on, shit's going to get crazy, but it hasn't happened yet. So nobody's taken this stuff seriously. It's been so embarrassing as an Australian for me to be posting that the beaches look like they did on spring break in Florida. Well, that's us here still, until a few days ago. They finally started closing beaches like 3 days ago because people weren't stopping going. And it was just like, we've been told to be home for weeks now. Nobody does. You can go to the shops right now and the malls are still open. The only thing that's closed here is the movie theatres and the restaurants, but you can get takeaway, just like in America. But that's kind of like it. Like the golf clubs are closed now. Like all the old men are whinging because the golf clubs are closed. But a lot of what we do over here, which is outdoors anyway, because we're a very outdoor kind of, country, it's not really any different. The only thing they've brought in now is you can't be with anyone else for more than 2 people. So if I want to go down the beach, I have to only go with one of my 3 kids type thing. The other 2 have to sort of walk together too. So that's a little strange, because if we all went to the beach together, we can't technically go walking out in public together. But it's not like it's not doable. So no one that I know personally that smokes weed has got it. Let's hope that there's something to do with that. I absolutely love weed myself, so that hasn't come up in any sort of conversations with anybody as yet. But if that helps, who the hell wouldn't be using it? Because weed helps everyone in so many ways. I am such a weed advocate. And yeah, no, that hasn't happened here yet. You got to remember, the only thing that's happened over here, we are in the timeline of pandemic. We're weeks behind America. The city I live in is north of Sydney. I live north of Sydney, and it's got 500,000 people live in this city. It's a regional city where I live. We're all spread out. It's beautiful. I live on a lake. I live on the ocean. Beautiful spot. The biggest hospital here, which is like the regional base for hospitals here, has ordered 5,000 body bags for here. And do you want to know how I know that? Because I know 2 of the nurses working in the COVID-19 team here at that hospital. They don't even want to be in the team. They were assigned to it, so obviously they have to be there. So one of them communicates with me once a week. She likes to know what's going on in childcare, because then she and her nurse friends can talk about it. And she gives us limited information
on what's going over there in the COVID-19 team, so I can help spread that information. To the childcare industry here, we kind of try and work together. I've known this lady for years and years. So when she told me that really hit me, because I was like, that's a 1% death rate, which is exactly what I've been saying to people for ages on what the death rate is going to be. So I predicted, and I've written this, and you can back me up on this because you know it's true. Mm-hmm. 2 weeks ago, I've been posting about the rate of everything for ages on my own personal page because I've known this was coming. And I told Americans and all my American friends 2 weeks ago, your death rate is not going to be 200,000. Your death rate is going to be 1.2 million. When this is all said and done, it's going to be up there. It's not. We've got so long to go. Do you want to know why? It's depressing to say this, because we are all driven by money. We're all driven by these politicians that want us to make money like little minions. So they're going to pause everything because it's so shit right now. They'll do it because they have to, because economically there's no other way to get around it. And then eventually we're all going to go back out there and mingle again, and then we're going to infect each other again. It might not be at the rates it is now because people will take shit seriously. They'll take it more seriously. They will distance themselves more where possible. You go ride on a subway or a bus, that's not going to happen. But we'll probably hand sanitize more. We'll wash our hands more often than I think people did in the past. People will improve their hygiene, which will improve the transmission rate, right? But at the end of the day, this virus survives on any object, for 17 days. Originally, they put it out saying 3 to 5 to 10 days. Then they got a cruise ship. This was the best thing they could have ever done. One of the cruise ships that they got in New York about 2 months ago, they left it, closed it up, turned up the key, locked the door, and left it with no human on it for 17 days. So there was no way that anyone was transmitting the disease on it. They went back in, it's 2 weeks ago today, they went back into the cruise ship and they tested all over the cruise ship. They tested on metal, they tested on clothing, they tested on plastic, they tested on cardboard, carpet, curtains, every single thing that's on a cruise ship, because every single thing on a cruise ship is like a home or a business or the outside world. The virus was still alive on all of these surfaces 17 days after basically being infected. This is why this virus is like no other virus that we've had before. This virus is so highly contagious. This virus is like a superbug of epic proportions. And this bug not only can stay alive on a surface outside of a body with no host for longer than any other bug before. There's no way that the flu, everyone keeps comparing it to the flu. This is nothing like a flu. The symptoms are like a flu, but the bug is a completely different bug. The flu can't stay alive for more than a day or two outside of the body. This is nothing like it. Can you imagine? You go and touch a pole tree. You go touch a pole tomorrow in a park. You lean up against the pole while you adjust your shoe, right? You're an asymptomatic carrier of the bug. You've got it in your system. You have not got one single symptom. You have no clue you have it. You cough on your hand accidentally, but you don't think anything of it because you don't know you've got it. You touch the pole. Just you lean on the pole and you touch it, right? And then off you go. You go off on your jog. For the next 17 days, anyone that touches that pole where that hand's been can get it. That's how quickly it spreads. And so you think about trains, planes, public places, the handrail, the lift button. These are all public places. That's all. The door of any building. Imagine. This is why it's spreading like it's spreading. if anyone wants to do anything, which everyone in my personal world is doing right now, I have a bag. In my bag, I have hand sanitizer and gloves and wipes. I have disinfectant wipes. So if I go out in public, I don't look stupid now, but I looked stupid 2 weeks ago, let me tell you. If I have to get out of a place and go out in a public place, I wear gloves. I do not let those gloves go back in my car when I get to my car. I put the gloves on and I do whatever I need to do out in public, and then I take the gloves off as I go back to my car. But then I don't even take any chances at that point. I still take the gloves off. I hand sanitize at that point. Then I get a disinfectant wipe and I wipe over every surface of my car. My door on the inside and out, my steering wheel and my gear shift thing, right? And I do that all the time. Every morning in my home when we do breakfast and everything here, me or the people who live in my home, we are all wiping over bench tops with disinfectant or hot soapy water. Don't forget, don't ever underestimate hot soapy water. Hot soapy water is as good as a disinfectant wipe if you don't have them. Hot soapy water for your hands, hot soapy water to wipe surfaces over is better than nothing. And so hot soapy water, you wipe over your fridge handles, you wipe over your light switches, your TV remotes, the handles on your kitchen benches, anywhere where there's more than one person using that stuff in the house, you should be wiping it over several times a day. Because the thing is, we all go out and we can potentially be bringing that stuff back into the house, even on us, and not even obviously know it. The other thing we do in my house every day, which might not be practical for some people in America when you don't have your own laundry, because it costs a lot of money too, we wash every day. So if you can't wash your clothes every day, because it kills the virus, they've confirmed washing your clothes kills the virus, but the clothes can have it on them. Wipe over your shoes. You're bringing shoes in your home that could potentially have the virus on it. And remember, this bastard lives for 17 days on surfaces, so you just don't know where you're going to pick it up. But you can make some, bag up your dirty clothes. Don't leave your dirty clothes on the floor. Don't leave your dirty clothes in a basket with open air on them or anything. Bag them up in a garbage bag. Try and keep them that they're not contaminating anything else in your house. Now, honestly, I'm saying all this stuff, and I mean, this is what the practices are that we're doing all over here that are helping us to contain this virus over here. And I sound like I'm in a sci-fi movie or something. Who would have thought? But the reality is, this is what we're dealing with. I'm watching the news from all over the world at the moment to make sure that I'm getting a balance of what the hell the status is around the world, right? Especially for this show. I'm making sure I'm getting information from not one source from this show, for this show. And one of the things that's coming up is that the American news feeds are so filtered. You guys are not seeing half of what we're seeing. Let me tell you why. I bet none of you have seen what's going on in Ecuador. I bet none of you have seen what's going on in Indonesia. It's bad. It's so bad, the death rate in Ecuador at the moment, they don't even have anywhere like a refrigerator truck like New York does to pile up the bodies nicely and have 18 lined up in a refrigerator truck. They're piling them up outside the hospitals because the morgues are so full and the funeral homes are so full, and it's a third world country. They just don't have the place to put them, so they're piling them up outside the hospitals. In Indonesia, it's another third world country. People love Bali, and Bali apparently is a nice place. I'd never go there in a million years, but that's not my personal choice. And the people are collapsing and dying in the street. So I've seen footage on the news here of them, driving along the street, and there's dead people all over the street, and they're mostly old. That's true. It's mostly old people, but they're just carking it. And they can't take them to hospital because their hospitals are so primitive and so basic, and user pays with the money. If you are the rich tourist, they'll take care of you more than they'll take care of their own countrymen, because it's all about the dollar, because they're so poor. So it's just horrendous. Spain, oh my God, poor Spain is being slammed as well. And it's so bad with the deaths over there too. They have 2 ice rinks now set up as morgues. The morgues and every other thing that's connected to, the processing death in their country. They have 2 ice rinks. They're now just piling up the bodies in to store them because they can't process the death quick enough. So, Italy is still quite bad. Italy, the death rate is dropping, but it's dropping from like 1,000 a day down to 700 a day. They've still got 700 people dying a day, but they go, what? It's improving. Then you've got the people that want to minimalise it and go, yeah, but there's hundreds of thousands that have survived and got better. Absolutely, but guess what else? We don't know in the medical world yet. The medical world cannot tell us, can you get infected again? We don't know that yet. It doesn't seem to be like the mumps, where if you catch the mumps, you've got natural immunity and your chances of getting it are pretty low. There is no data at this point. There is nobody that can confirm or deny that once you catch it, if you get over it, you've built up some immunity, that you can't catch it again. It's too early in the...
Hey, do me a favor. No, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm gonna let you continue, but do me a favor. Go to my YouTube channel while you're on the phone, so you can see the comments, because people are responding to you and stuff.
Okay.
So you can actually respond to them. A lot of people are saying that they're pumping fear into us. Like there's a lot of reports that are inaccurate. I've seen some video footage of the New York hospitals. The emergency rooms are empty. So it's a lot of confusing information, out on the internet about this stuff.
Well, you see, that's why I get my information from more than one source. I don't think that... hang on, I've got to just turn off this. I don't think that they're trying to pump fear. I think they're trying to get everyone to stay home. I think they're really, really freaking out about how bad this is going to get. But at the end of the day, when people are still going outside, that's really, really not helpful. So at the end of the day, I don't know, if it's fear. I think it's supposed to be education. But this is happening around the world. If you think it's acceptable for 4,000 people to be dead from one virus in just a couple of weeks in America, well, then continue doing what you're doing. But if you think that's unacceptable, then the community as a whole has to do something about this. This virus is not political. It doesn't care about politics. It doesn't care about an agenda. It doesn't care about a movement. This virus was built to destroy human bodies, or at least make them extremely weak. And it's doing exactly what a virus does. We can make it political and say, well, who screwed up and let it out, and who did this and who did that? Well, it ultimately comes back to China. China knew what they had. The other thing I want to say is there are people in China now speaking out, which usually when they do that they end up dead, saying that they have been burning bodies in China now for 3 months, 24 hours a day for 3 months. There is approximately 3,500 urns being produced every day in China. So how are they producing 3,500 urns of dead bodies a day if they only had a death rate of 3,000? So therefore they're lying about their statistics. And people are speaking up about it in China now. Again, this is probably information that you can't access in America because they don't allow you. The press is manipulated in America. But it's not over here, and it's not in some other countries. So we get access to stories and information that you can't normally access in America. I'm always horrified when I'm in America. I'm like in a newsfeed bubble. Every time I'm there, I'm like, well, this is what they want Americans to know, but what's the true situation? And it's very difficult when I'm in America to get information to what's going on around the rest of the world. It's just not very accessible. So someone said, what's Black Caesar saying? Always said, what is the best way to kill somebody as a kid? Just walk up to them and kill them. Well, that's exactly right. We've always had The Walking Dead. I'm a massive Walking Dead fan, and I've watched that show for years, and I've always thought, Jesus Christ, if this ever happens. We are so close to the reality that, thank God, the dead people don't come back as zombies. That's the only part about this that's not the same. But if you think about the way The Walking Dead and any apocalyptic kind of pandemic movie starts, it starts off exactly like the reality that we have right now, where this thing is spreading, and it's spreading rapidly, and nobody takes it seriously. So there was, in California just a couple of days ago, you probably saw it on your TV, a massive group of family members and friends got together in the street for a 1-year-old's birthday party, and the police were brought because there was like 50 people there, and they were causing a ruckus and really being socially irresponsible for a 1-year-old's birthday. What 1-year-old do you even know is going to remember a birthday period? This was an excuse for them to get together, an excuse for everyone to do shit because they were probably super bored. So then for the police come and start trying to disperse it. Then they try and start making it's about a racial issue. No, on this occasion it's not racial. It is, you dumbasses got 50 people together for a 1-year-old's birthday. You shouldn't be mixing. And if anyone in that group had it, they're now spreading it to everyone else in that group, who's then taking it back to their house. So it's not responsible. So the thing that I think is going to happen in the future is China is going to come back bigger and better than ever, because think about it, everybody now is buying everything they can from China to try and save the rest of the world. So China's making a mozza out of this. China had a temporary dent in their arsenal of financial reign over the rest of the world because they're so freaking rich, and the way that they do things is they buy everything and then they control it, and they are at it again. They destroyed our economies worldwide, and I think they're laughing all the way to the bank in the background. They might take a little bit of a hit, but with what they're actually doing behind the scenes at the moment is criminal, in my opinion. They should not be taking advantage of a country's pandemic situation and then trying to do deals and rush things through. They're doing it in New York as well. I was going to say before, they were doing it to Italy, and it's been all flagged, but some of it's too late. They've already done the deals. And then as soon as things have started heating up in New York, apparently it's happening in New York too. And I'm hoping that because the Trump administration has been strong on China and deals with China and everything, I'm hoping it's flagged and it is paused over there too. But I can't hear anyone confirming that that's happened yet. But if there's one thing that I will give Trump credit for, it is the way he's handled China, and he's tried to cut back on the amount of power China has had on trade. It has hurt people, because he's trying to be strong and say, no, I'm not doing it. And so China's then gone, fine, you don't do that, we don't do this. So it has hurt farmers and it has hurt small industry. But the bigger picture here is they are almost controlling our world, the world, because they have their hands in every single pocket. So if I give you an example of what China owns in this country, they now control all of our ports. What government in your right mind would allow another country to control the ports of that country? So I live in a city that has one of the biggest ports for Australia. There's only like 5 massive ones, and I live in one of them. When China took over the port, which was about 3 or 4 years ago now, they control it now for 99 years. And controlling it means that they doubled the day after they signed, like say they signed it on a Wednesday and at midnight they owned it, the next morning every tariff in that port was doubled. Like so crazy. And nobody could do anything about it because China was in control now. So everybody just pays more for the same service, but all the money goes back to China. So they're really, really clever. Throughout the Pacific, they are trying to buy all of the control in little Pacific islands that are desperate for infrastructure and money and modern day, things like giant jetties or airports or anything like that. China's going and saying, we'll build you that highway, but then we want a seat at the table in your government. We want someone to represent us in your government. We've been told in a report over here on a 60 Minutes program over here that even China has gone to places like Vanuatu, which is one of the most beautiful places you could ever go in the world. I've been there. It's so freaking poor, but so beautiful. And they've said to them, we'll build you this, this, or this, but when we build it, then we want you to represent us when it's at the UN. When the UN votes for certain things, we want you to vote what we want you to vote. And all that's come out of the woodwork as well, that they're actually not just trying to economically control people, they're trying to politically control people. And so this virus, interesting timeline, it came out in Wuhan, China, when Wuhan, China had a massive, massive festival for the Chinese New Year. And then they knew about the virus at that point. They knew the virus had got out. They knew it was going to spread. And what did they do? They allowed 5 million people to fly out of Wuhan and go wherever they wanted to go in the world. They allowed it. And that's on them. And no one can ever say that they didn't know what they were doing. That government who controls every single thing that those people do knew what it was doing. It would deliberately spread that virus and just was like, let's sit back and watch the chaos begin. I mean, that's honestly to God what has happened. So then it hits America, it hits other parts of the world, and boom, chaos has ensued. So wow. This is no accident. If anyone thinks this is an accident, you're crazy. What is the motivation? I don't even know. I can't figure it out. Other than world domination, I can't figure it out. So, yeah, this is bigger than any of us, and we need to pull together. And the world's people need to see the reality for what it is. When a country allows a virus like that to get out and doesn't stop 5 million people from leaving, but once it got rid of the 5 million people, it locked that country down like you have no idea. I've seen footage of people where they were welded into their apartments. They made you go in your apartment and then they welded the doors shut and you couldn't get out. And all you could do was open it 1 inch because it had like a welding bar around your door. You could open your door for deliveries and the government would deliver people food.
Oh, wow.
Right?
What was this at in Wuhan,
yeah,
China?
So they would get food and you could get it. You could put your hand out through your door and it was enough space to open your front door, and then there was this welding bar around it. So, and they're still stuck in, well, I mean, I don't know if they're stuck in there now, but they were still stuck in there till the government decided to allow them to get out. So if the government's prepared to go that far to control the virus in their own country and yet magically allowed 5 million people to leave, you tell me what's going on. You know, this isn't a conspiracy theory. This is actual data from the airlines. This is actual transmission and everything that you can prove. You can prove that this movement happened. It's not a conspiracy theory. So, yeah, it's got to be taken more seriously. I still have friends who are still saying to me, like, we're overreacting, this is no big deal, yada, yada, yada. This virus is built to destroy your lungs. There is no other way to put it. The virus is built to actually create lung immobility. When it gets into you and you get it bad enough, it actually stops your lung function. This is why ventilators are so important, because ventilators breathe for you until your body can build up enough immunity to fight back. It's also built, this virus is also built to actually make, they call it a glue-like mucus. So if your body is barely able to make your lungs breathe in and out, so you're already having trouble breathing, but then your body is producing a glue-like mucus that then is filling your lungs with this crazy shit, that's why people are dying. And you can't say it's just an old person's disease, because there's kids and young people dying too now. The worst part is young people keep thinking that they're immune and they're doing whatever they want to do. But even if they're immune and they're not going to die from it, they're still spreading it. 25% of the people, 25% of the people who have it don't even know they've got it. They're called asymptomatic, means they show no symptoms whatsoever. You're running around, you have no clue you got it, so you're just doing what you normally do. And therefore, you're still spreading it because you're contagious. 25%, that's a lot of people running around that don't know they got it. Then you got another 30% who have it like a bad cold. They feel sick, they don't feel great, they got fevers, they got a bit of a cough, they have a bit of trouble breathing. That's another 30%, right? So hopefully those 30% are, sick enough that they're then going, yep, I've got to stay home. Then you go into the next 30%. That's when it's getting a little bit more serious, and you might need to go to hospital, you might need oxygen. You're a bit more sicker than the person who's just staying at home and chilling like, I got a bad cold. Then it's more like a serious cold. And then they go from there. The next remainder are the small percentage, it's 20% or something, are the ones who are seriously ill, need to go into hospital, and then may need to be intubated with a ventilator and have it breathe for them. That's only 20% of the people that get this. And only 20% of those people, 1 to 2%, are the ones dying. So we do have a high recovery rate. That's the good news. But the problem is that 2%, let's say we go 1 to 2% of the 20% of the people that catch it, that die, but are dying at the moment at such a rate that we can't keep up with it in the hospitals around the whole world. If we can build up natural immunity over time through the people that are getting it, that are asymptomatic, who are still spreading it, so they're spreading it to you and me and whoever else, and we catch a touch of this thing and we can build up a bit of immunity, that's where over time things will improve. We've got more chance of building up immunity at this point than they do getting that immunization out about. And do you want to know why they're having so much trouble with the immunization? The bloody bastard virus has mutated 3 times in 6 months. So when this mutation keeps happening, it's causing the current vaccine that they're trying to build, they have got to adjust it. So this is why it's going to take forever for that vaccine to come out, because this thing is such a superbug. I mean, if you had to say to me, what's the ultimate superbug in our history of the human race, I'd have to say this one's going to take out the award for it. This is worse than SARS, worse than MERS, it's worse than Ebola, because they were not as contagious as this. You got sick when you got them, but this one is the contagious factor is what's the killer. So, yeah, we're in for a ride, the whole world is, and we have to take the distancing and the hygiene and all of that more seriously makes me wonder, though, Tree. It really does. What kind of nasty bastards were we before this? Because I've always been a hand washer and, a soap cleaner and all that kind of thing because of my job. We're always clean. But what the hell's going on with the rest of the planet? Like, the fact that it spread like it did, it's just proven to me that there are some real nasty people out there that don't wash their hands.
Well, that's real. That's real talk, man.
So I think if nothing else we all have to take from this is that you got to keep your hands clean. Stop bloody sneezing on everything. Don't spit. Those idiots out there that still spit, you're transmissioning a virus. Stop spitting in the street. Put it in a bin. Spit in a bin. Spit in, a garden or something where it's not going to have people then touching it or walking on it, or because you think about it, some dickhead in the street spits in the street, and then 10 minutes later you and I walk by and it goes on our shoe because we don't know it's there, and then we walk it into the building we go into, we take it on transport, we go in someone's house, we go in our own house, we go to our hairdressers, the supermarket. Like, this is how it's transmissioning with all of people doing stuff like that, putting your body fluids out there in public and then everybody walking on them and moving them. So, and don't forget, I'll remind everybody, this thing goes for 17 days alive on a surface, so it can be on your shoe and you don't know, and you're walking that shoe everywhere and spreading it.
Can it actually come in from goods shipped over from China?
Technically, yes. I mean, if unless they have hygienically sealed them, then absolutely. But China is probably managing it the best at the moment, but they're 4 months ahead of the rest of the world. And you've got to remember, it's a communist country that just completely controls their people. If they say you stand up, then nobody questions it. You stand up. Every other westernized country, you go to a mob outside in Los Angeles or Sydney, and you say, everybody stand up, stop what you're doing right now and stand up. No question, stand up. Everyone's going to turn around and go, what the fuck's wrong with you? Sorry, I didn't mean to swear. They're going to be like, I'm not doing that. I'm not just going to stand up because you said. You'll have 98% of the people that you give that instruction to would question you why you're doing it. 100%. They would question you. So therefore, we don't live in the same society as China. We are going to spread this thing forever. The best outcome we can all hope is that we do catch it, but we get it mildly to try and build up some natural immunity to it. That's the best thing we can do. But in saying that, every time one of us is all catching it in the future, you got to remember that there's someone out there who's going to equally catch it like you and me, and they're going to die from it because it will render their body completely out. It will just stop the functions of the lungs, and if they have a heart condition they might not know about, or they're just, they don't have high immunity, it's going to get them. That's the person it's going to get. What about that poor mum who survived cancer, that mum of 7 in another state in America last week? She fought freaking cancer off, beat it, but she's only been cancer-free for a month or two, and then she got this, and it took her out in 3 or 4 days. And it's so tragic because obviously she was a fighter. Obviously she wanted to live, and she got through that whole cancer thing. And then to have that come along and just wipe her out so quick, such a tragedy, not to mention those kids, 7 kids without their mum now. So it's a really sad story, but that's the problem. It might not be that you're old, because she wasn't old, she was mid-40s. It was that she was immune compromised because she just beat cancer. So if I had someone in my house that was, like a diabetic or fighting cancer or just over cancer, or someone made a joke about people are going to think that every allergy they have now is COVID-19. Imagine being someone who's allergic to nuts or seafood or eggs or wheat or dairy products or all those people, technically you're an immune compromised person. If you get an allergy to something, that makes you immune compromised. Asthmatics. I am an asthmatic, and so are some of my kids. And so that makes us immune compromised. So that's my biggest fear, is I already know what it's like not to breathe properly from having asthma. I don't get it very often, thank God. But when I get it, it can be kind of scary. And I look at this and hear the information on what this virus does to your body, and I just absolutely get terrified, because I think asthma inhibits my breathing, but this thing wants to actually, it's engineered and built to actually stop your lungs from functioning, and then creating this glue-like mucus to like really clog it up. That sounds scary to me, and that's what it does. And then every other thing that comes with it is just a byproduct of the symptom that the body gets as it's trying to fight it. So the cough, the fever, the sore throat, and now they're saying pink eye. In the UK, they were the first people to make that public. Was a whole bunch of ICU nurses in the UK a few weeks ago and said pink eye is a common thing and no one's talking about it. So if you're getting bloodshot eyes, you need to, and the other symptoms, that's another indicator that you've got it. So it's really strange that that's not more prevalent about being a symptom.
Or you could just
so
have
there's a
pink
lot
eye,
going
right?
on. There's a lot going on everywhere, and it's going to hit. You watch people. My prediction is Sydney, or Australia, I should say. It's going to really heat up here in the next couple of weeks, because nobody over here is taking it seriously enough, and it's so embarrassing. I'm completely embarrassed as an Australian that my country is being so relaxed about such a serious thing. I can only hope they're all in their homes every night and we get the feed of how bad things are. Like I said, we see it around the world. And we're watching Spain absolutely going into meltdown. We're seeing Italy coming out of what is a war, the way it's gone down there. And now it's heating up really badly in America. I can only hope that the rest of my stupid countrymen watching this on the news every night and realizing we're not immune. We're humans. This thing likes to be in humans. This disease is here. It's here in our country already. So we're not immune by any means. And by the way, I just like to say, poor old Trump, when it all first happened and he was trying to shut it down, he's like, it's here. We have one guy from China. That's what he said. When it first came out and he confirmed it was there, he was like, yeah, one guy from China. And I'm like, one guy? And I was like, well, I'd like to put that out there too. And we had one guy from China. Bring it here to Australia too. But it's more like a plane load, because when that one guy from China was on a plane for God knows how many hours, he infected the whole plane. So it wasn't one guy, it was a whole plane load from China.
Man, it's crazy,
But at the end of the day, the reality is 5 million people left Wuhan before they were locked down. 5 million. And 5 million went all over the world. And a lot of them would have gone towards America and Australia. They love Australia. And then Europe and everywhere that they went. And so China is ultimately responsible for that. And so I hold China responsible for what's going on in the world. Have our governments handled it well? No, because they've been more worried about trying to make it look better than it is, because but this thing is just like got its own agenda. I think Dr. Fauci was quoted yesterday as saying, I'm pretty sure what he said was, the virus controls the timeline, no government can control the timeline. And he's dead set right. No politics can control this. No politics in a Western country can tell us what's going to happen and how it's going to happen, because the virus is in control. What the people can do is try and control the spread of the virus. And if we control the spread of the virus, then we get a handle on the virus. But at this point, while ever there's still people gathering and going anywhere and doing anything, and not washing hands and not disinfecting and not washing their clothes when they've been out in public and all those different things, then it's still going to just keep going and going and going. That's why I say 1.2 million will, in America alone, will pass away from this virus when it's all said and done. Now, we're way, way off that number. I think we're in between 4,000 and 5,000 at the moment in America. So we're way off. And when I told people this even a couple of weeks ago, honestly, I was told I was like a conspiracy theorist, a tin hat foil wearing idiot. I was all these other things. And I was like, it's okay. I know I sound crazy. I know I do. I don't even like that I'm saying it. But the mathematics of this virus, you cannot deny. You can't deny maths on this one, because that's what makes you know where it's going. You just don't know how fast it's going to happen, because of the fact that it depends on what we do to inhibit its spread. But ultimately, we all sit in our homes forever, and we can't be all getting paid by the government to stay home forever. I can tell you right now, one of my friends in the government has told me that there's actually more money coming in the future for America to try and get their hold on this. He said there's going to be more stimulus stuff released, and it's coming soon, and they're going to pay you to stay home. That's where it's getting for America. But we're already there in Australia. We're already getting paid to stay home, except apparently if you're an essential service worker or a childcare worker, then we have to go to work. But everyone else is already being paid to stay home. So I need us to go to a level 4 lockdown like New Zealand. Have you heard about New Zealand? You probably all haven't.
I haven't.
New Zealand is freaking amazing. And what happened in New Zealand was they had a couple of cases, and straight away their Prime Minister just put them in a level 4 lockdown. Was it a week ago? A week ago. She just closed the borders. 2 weeks ago she closed her borders. And then Australia followed her about a day or two later. We copied her on that one.
What is a level 4 lockdown?
1 week ago, she went into a level 4 lockdown.
What is that, Liz?
Sorry.
What is a level 4 lockdown?
So a level 4 lockdown, okay, you cannot... A level 4 lockdown is when you cannot leave your house except if you are going to work in an essential service. So if you work in a hospital, a prison, a supermarket, a pharmacy, or petrol or transportation, you can go to work. But you then have to have papers on you. So I'll give you an example. One of my friends in the UK, he doesn't live with his girlfriend, but he cannot leave his house. He actually works for the UN in the UK, has an amazing job. He's now working from home in his job for the UN. He's not allowed to go out of his house. He has to have papers on him, and they do in Western Australia already. They're already in this phase. And I have a friend who works in a prison there, and they have to have their address on them. They have to have a letter from their employer to say where they work, the address of where they work and what they do for a job, and it has to be a certain kind of letter you have to carry on you at all times. And you have to produce it when a policeman pulls you over and says, why are you out? And you can say, well, here's the letter, I'm on my way to work. Or you can say, I'm on my way to the pharmacy, or I'm on my way to the supermarket. And they're the only places you're allowed to go. Other than that, you are not allowed to visit your relatives, you are not allowed to visit your friends. And as I was going to say, my friend in the UK, he doesn't live with his girlfriend, and they're really bummed out because they're not allowed to visit each other. She lives in a different part of the city to him, and he can't sort of go and visit her on the way to the supermarket. He's not allowed to. And that's the other thing about going to the supermarket or the pharmacy. You can't go to one 30 minutes down the road. You have to go to the one that's in your immediate area. So if there is a supermarket 5 minutes from your home, that's the only supermarket you're kind of allowed to go to. So it's very, very restrictive in our freedoms, and everybody in my country and yours would never ever experienced anything like this before at all. But that's where it kind of has to go in order for us to stop the spread. We have to literally halt life as we know it, and then it stops the virus continually being transferred to everybody. The other thing they did in China really well, and I bet you guys haven't seen this footage either, is every single night when the country was locked down, was they had these huge entire trucks spraying disinfectant and everything all over the entire city. Every single surface, the roads, the footpaths, the doors on buildings, every single thing was being disinfected every night. No country's doing that. I've seen, I think, someone in Italy doing it, but not on the scale that China did it. You know when you get your snow plows together and they're all like going down the highway and they're all snow plowing together? It's kind of on that kind of scale where they're like all lined up, the trucks are all lined up together and they're driving down the street pouring the disinfectant out of the back in these weird machines that come out of the back of the truck. And they're disinfecting the streets every night. So this is what I'm saying. We aren't doing all of that in my country in America at the moment. So therefore, even if you and I do all the things we can do to prevent the spread, it's still not enough for then. No one's disinfecting all of the streets at night. They're doing our shopping centres here. I don't know if they're doing the shopping centres at night where you guys live because I haven't personally seen it. But they are doing it here. I went down to a shopping centre the other night to check, just sussing it out, and they closed the shopping centre. I got there just after it closed on purpose, and I was sitting in the car park watching, and they started to hot steam all the concrete everywhere, and they were doing the street, the footpath, the car park. They were steam spraying with a pressure sprayer the whole area where this particular shopping centre was. So they were doing that here in Australia, but on a small scale. What they've been doing in China, there's it's on a whole other level. Oh. Wow. Are you still there, Tree?
Yeah, I'm here. We just listening and stuff, man, trying to intake all this
It's a
craziness,
lot, isn't
man.
it?
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
definitely
I'm
a lot,
sorry.
man.
I'm sorry. It's a lot. I know. I told you. I've been sort of trying to keep tabs on all this to tell you because I've been trying to, try and sync up to catch you for 2 weeks, but it's just so crazy with the scheduling that it's hard for me to catch up. So I've been trying to retain and collect all this data and this information to give to you. And yeah, I'm sorry, it's a lot. And I know that there'll be people out there that just think I'm crazy, and that's totally okay. I'm okay with it. But I haven't been wrong yet. The only thing I've been wrong about in 5 weeks of tracking this is the death rate and the infection rate for Australia. I'm off by 1,500 last Tuesday, but I'm dead set right on America, and I'm dead set right on everything else in the world. So I'm okay with everyone thinking I'm crazy. I have to tell you, I'm in a couple of different groups on Facebook like everybody is, and one of them that I'm in is a police law enforcement group. And this was a hard one for me to do. I was watching them in the group. Nobody was taking this seriously for weeks now, and I'm talking about police officers. And they're making jokes about the flu and this and that. And so I started throwing a few, messages, questions out there, because I'm not a police officer, but I have family who are, and I'm friends with police officers, so that's why I'm allowed in the group. And I said, are you wearing your protective gear when you're out? And they're going, yeah, like we always do anyway. And I was like, are you all wearing masks all the time? And they're like, only if we have to treat somebody, like in a general sense we're not. I'm saying, has anyone directed you from any of the state governments to start wearing masks? This was a conversation 4 weeks ago. And they're saying, no, we're not there. We wear gloves, but we're not, doing the other stuff. And I was a little bit sad, to say the least, to think this was going on. So I took a chance, and I thought I could even have been thrown out of the group because what I was about to tell them was going to sound so crazy that they would think I was a nut job. But I thought, fuck it, I'm going to say it, and hopefully somebody in the group knows I'm telling the truth. So I posted one of my posts. It was 2 weeks ago now that I did it. And I said to them, look, I'm just putting this out there because, I respect everyone in this group. You're all law enforcement officers, but I don't think you're taking this shit seriously. You all know I'm in Australia because I post in this group lots, that I do lots and lots of funny jokes for them, situational workplace jokes type thing. or I leave all the police officer stuff up to them. But I'm very well known in the group because I contribute a lot of positive stuff. And so I said, you'll know I'm in Australia. You'll know I'm not even a law enforcement officer, but you know I have family who are and friends who are. So I'm dealing with people in law enforcement all the time in my extended family. This is what's going down in your country, and it's going to hit you in the next 2 weeks. And then I went boom. I set up, this is the prediction of what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks. And I was freaking out a little bit about writing it because I was like, these people are going to think I'm nuts. And I got slammed. I got told I was a CNN lover. My stats were bullshit. I'm off my face. That I was, how dare I put such ridiculous shit out there. I was just dumb. I was just plain dumb. Oh, yeah, just make that shit up, why don't you, Aussie chick, blah, blah, blah. You're dumb, you're dumb, you're dumb. And in the end, I said, all right, Billy Joe from West Bumblefuck, officer, what's the stats where you are right now? You tell me what the stats are where you are right now. They go 3. And I said, right, there's 3 people. This is why these officers have no fucking idea. Sorry, I keep swearing. They have no clue because they do live in West Bumble, wherever, and they have 3 people in the area that have it. And I said to him, that 3 in 4 more days will be 6, and in 8 more days that'll be 12. I said, so you check me. You check me, goddammit. I said, you will have your special little 3 will be 12 or more in 8 days. Quote me. And then there was another one who really, really gave it to me. He was really attacking me. And I said, how many infected are there where you are? And he said, 665. And I said, it will be 4 times that in 8 days. 4 times. And they're I'm batshit crazy, I'm this, I'm that, I'm everything else. It was really, really hard for me to take the abuse that I got. And so I contacted a couple of my law enforcement officer friends who are in the group who saw what was going on. And I said, why are they so hostile? Why do they not know? Why do they not know? And he said, filtering. They don't want to tell all the police officers the real truth because they want them to show up to work. They don't want them to know what the hell's about to come. They want them to show up to work. So their daily briefings don't have just how serious this is in it yet because they're trying to make sure these good dudes still keep coming to work. But the problem with that is that the people who are out there trying to protect and serve the community are completely misinformed about how bad this situation is. They should have been giving them the information. They should have been educating them because maybe then they could have educated their own families and those families could have educated friends and then had it through a non-confrontational way, had a better education of what was going to happen. So, of course, it's all happened. In fact, it's everything I said that was going to happen in my post has happened. Crickets. Not one of those those people has come back and said, I'm sorry, you were right. Not one of them has come back to me and said, I didn't know what I was talking about. You did. But all they did was attack me and really, really made me feel horrible at the time. And it all came down to misinformation in the police department. So that's the other thing that happens over there is when the White House is trying to bury the bleeding obvious and trying to silence anyone getting the truth out there because it looks bad for ratings for Trump and his election, promises. The reality is that trickle-down effect of that, because then there's the people that are saying, oh, it's not bad because the White House said so, and then they're like, yeah, I'm not taking that seriously, and it trickles down to then you've got these law enforcement officers that only 2 weeks ago I predicted what was going to happen, I finally said, fuck it, I need to tell them, posted it, and I got annihilated. There were some in there, a handful that said she's right. It's happening and she's right. But that 80% of them were negative, 20% were positive. But the reality is it's all happened. It's come true. I'm not an idiot. I wouldn't have ever posted such a crazy post in a police line group in a million years if I thought I was going to, not do the right thing. So in that aspect, it was a little bit disturbing, to say the least, that police officers were not as well informed as they should have been at the time. Some of them would have been. Anyone in New York would have known. Anyone in Los Angeles, California, Washington State, they would have all known. But I mean, Louisiana even let that festival go ahead just a few weeks ago, and suddenly they got 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 infected, and they're going, oh, how did this all happen? Like, unbelievable. Florida, that man, that governor in Florida, he should be charged with, like, manslaughter. Not only did he let spring break go ahead, but he didn't contain anything going on with the Florida spread. Now all those spring breakers are flying home, or have flown home in the last week, and boom, where was the state? I think it was Ohio. It might have been, I don't know if I got the state right, but they've had 14 tests positive out of a group of 70. Like, hello? And so who have those 14 been around in the last week, other than through airports and probably public transport and every other conceivable thing? Supermarket, 100%, they've been to the supermarket. And wherever else those young people have been until they tested positive, think about it, they not only crossed the country in the process as well. Now let's assume they didn't catch a plane. For some reason they didn't catch a plane and they drove. Well, then that makes it worse, doesn't it? Because then they're stopping more regularly in more places, and they would have been spreading the virus and not even knowing they had it. And so that's on that governor, and now he's apparently saying that he's not going to stop people from having religious gatherings because that's inhibiting religious rights. What a moron that man is for doing that. If that is what if Trump doesn't step in and say, no, you got to cut that out, and allows that, well then, good luck, Florida. Enjoy the morgue that is going to be built up outside your hospitals in just a few weeks' time. And any person who thinks religion is more important than social distancing at the moment is going to end up sick for sure. You should be practicing religion at home. Those people in those churches should be doing some sort of online video that they can send all their parishioners. There is no reason why you need to be going into a mass group around other people and infecting each other. So any person that's religious should be saying to their local pastor, priest, minister, whatever, saying, I want to still practice my religion, but I want to do it in a safe place. Have we come up with an innovative way of connecting us all? And, I think it was somewhere in Europe, there was a innovative way where a Catholic priest was doing drive-through confession. I thought it was brilliant. It meant he sat on a chair, you pulled up in your car, you confessed whatever it was you needed to confess. He gave you Hail Marys and all the things that they do, and off you drove. So he still got to do what he needed to do for his people. They still got what they needed from him, but they did it in a way that it was really, really innovative and keeping us all safe from spreading it from each other. So, there's ways and means to do things, but the governor, Florida of governor, he is going to have blood on his hands, and it's going to be in a couple of weeks' time. And you remember that, mark my words, that man should be in jail after this because he has deliberately gone against science and medical recommendations for the sake of some agenda he has, and he's going to put people in danger because there's people down there that if the governor says it's okay, then we're going to do it. It's crazy.
Hella crazy, man. I don't even know what to think at this point, Liz.
What we need to do is everybody needs to have this conversation with everybody else. We need to be talking about the fact that China has an agenda. Russia has an agenda. and not think when someone talks to you about it that we're crazy. If you want facts, go and research it yourself. Go and look this information up yourself. Don't just take my word for it, but I get my information from multiple sources. I go and look at multiple facets of sources too. I don't just go and get it all. I don't, like some people like to say to me, oh, you just watch CNN. I'm like, hell no. I watch English news. I watch Italian news. I watch Australian news. I watch American news. I watch news from around the world. We have access to that in my country because we're such a multicultural country. We have news from around the world, literally from, the desk of Greece, not just a Greek guy saying it. The best thing you could do, Tree, you posted it the other day. Did you post that story I sent you about how Singapore got it so right?
Yeah, I did. I played it on my show.
Because if anyone wants to see what country got it right and how they did it, go watch the thing on how Singapore did it. That was brilliant. I was so amazed at how quickly and how smartly that country managed the virus. As soon as they had their reported cases again from China, they were onto it and they educated their citizens immediately. And that's a country of, I think it's 5.5 million people. So, that's a bunch of, million people. That's only a little bit smaller than New York City. I think New York City is 8.5 million people, just the city. And so this country's, 5.5, maybe 6, it's somewhere around there. So it's a little bit smaller, but it's a similar comparison. And I think they only have 1 or 2 dead ever. I'm not even sure if that's true. There might be 1 or 2. But nothing. They have nothing compared to what's going on in New York. But it's too late for New York because the virus has already spread. The key was that they nipped it in the bud as soon as they realized it was a problem. So if anyone wants to know who got it right, go Google what Singapore did and got it right, or find the link on TreeTV and watch it. It's like a 10 or 15 minute story on what they did and exactly how they did it. And the other thing they got right was, this is already happening in New York hospitals because I've seen a nurse talk about it. The triage of when you get there to the hospital at the moment, because they're so busy, is that you come in and that you and I go in together, Tree. You have mild symptoms, I have more severe symptoms. They put you and I in the same room because there's nowhere else to put them. You might not have many symptoms because you're not as sick as me and I've got it and I'm sicker, but we're sitting in the same room till we get a bed, sort of thing. They didn't do that in Singapore. In Singapore, you turned up to a health check-in spot, you were immediately isolated, and then they got you quickly processed, and okay, you're severe, you go off and you're quarantined and this and that, like straight away. Protocol was already in place of how we're going to manage you because you're a walking disease, basically. But the mild person was then self-quarantined to their home and checked on by the government, medical to make sure they weren't going out and everything. And if they had to go out, then they were fully gowned up and making sure that they were not spreading this virus with anybody anywhere they went. It just worked really, really well. And so again, this is coming down to they got to it fast before it got out of control in their country. The problem is, over in America, for example, at the moment, it's already got out of control. So now they've got to try and just manage it as the droves come in until they can get that number down. And that's why they talk about slowing the spread and changing the curve. The curve of infection is going through the roof at the moment, and it's going to continue for the next few weeks in America. It's not going to slow down anytime soon because America hasn't slowed down. Slowed down a little bit, but you go outside and go down the street today and see how many people are all the way around you. How many people are wearing gloves? How many people are wearing masks? It's getting better. I can tell you, as I said, 2 weeks ago in Sydney, I was the only person everywhere I went that was wearing gloves, the only one. Now I can go down the street and I'd say it's 50%. It should be 100%. We should all be wearing gloves when we go out in a public place and then discarding those gloves before you get back into your home or your car or whatever. That's what we should be doing. You should wash your hands more than you sanitize if you have access to hand washing. Nothing beats hand washing for 20 seconds, and that is a long-ass time, over hand sanitizer. But if you've got nothing else, then you use hand sanitizer if you can. So, again, do you have hand sanitizer all the time? We all know that that's like a major issue to get in our environment at the moment. Everybody's buying up the hand sanitizer. The other thing they've done well in Australia, which I think America's getting onto now, is as soon as we had the toilet paper crazy thing happen, because, by the way, again, embarrassing for Australia, that happened in Australia first, and then the rest of the world followed, so that was so embarrassing. We had the toilet paper issue, so we sold out of toilet paper for 2 weeks. You couldn't get it anywhere. And then they started on cleaning products, and then hand sanitizer, and now masks, and all sorts of stuff like that. Like, it's just been crazy. Now it was the food. You know how you came in and there was no food in your supermarkets. So then the supermarkets closed here for 24 hours. The whole country was like, no, screw you all. You can't be trusted. We're shutting everything down for 24 hours, and we're going to reset, fill all our supermarkets up with supplies again, and then from tomorrow, you have to hand sanitize when you go into the supermarket. You're given a antibacterial wipe to wipe over your trolley, as you're given a trolley and hand sanitizer, basically. And then you walk in. They only allow 30 people in a supermarket at a time, so social distancing is being practiced. And if anyone else wants anything, you have to line up outside. Super annoying, but then they're going to get the supermarkets to trade 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so it can spread out the time that everyone is in the shops here. So that's what's going on at the moment. And you're only allowed one thing. The only thing you're allowed to take 2 of is bread. I think you're allowed to take 2 of bread, but every other item, and maybe milk, but every other item in the store now, you're only allowed 1. So unfortunately, we have to shop 3 or 4 times a week now, because I like to do a big shop and then have stuff for a week, so I don't have to bother with it. But because we're limited and there are 6 people live in my house, we have to go every couple of days. So that's the annoying part, but it is what it is, because people can't be trusted. People were out there buying up, the entire meat department and taking it home to freeze it. I mean, what selfish people. So that's happened in America as well as here, but our supermarkets are now limiting you to one thing every time you go in. And I think people were saying, oh, but then I can go to the supermarket, down the road, and then I can go down 10 minutes down the road to the other supermarket and do it all again. Well, you can, but at the end of the day, that's a giant pain in the ass, isn't it? So are you going to want to keep doing that? Are you going to want to keep shopping in, 3 supermarkets for the day and take 4 or 5 hours of your time up to go and get 4 or 5 versions of what you got in the first shop? So it is, I think, causing people to just take a breath and go, look, it's all just too much. I'll go in a couple more days. And so finally people are not panic buying over here like they were. When was the last time you guys went to the supermarket? Are they limiting everything over there, or is it only certain products still?
They're just, the few times I've been to the supermarkets, they were limiting toilet paper and hand sanitizer, but as far as everything else, it was a free fall. And the stores are pretty well stocked. I mean, you got to go to certain stores. I mean, like Whole Foods was pretty well stocked. I mean, some of the shelves were empty, but not everybody named Mama shop at Whole Foods. You feel me?
Yeah,
That's more
exactly.
of an upper scale store, stuff like that. So it all depends on where you go to. They have a lot of supermarkets and just stores out here in Cali, period. So if you move around, you'll be able to find all your essential needs and stuff.
Right. Yeah, so that's the thing, the moving around. There we go. When we're back to everybody's moving around, everybody's mobile. I mean, I've been reading some of the comments on here, and dating, oh my God, yeah. Dating's a huge issue now, because if everyone goes into a level 4 lockdown where you can't visit other than your place of business or the people that live in your house, and you're single and don't have a partner, then I guess Pornhub's going to become your new best friend, or FaceTime, something like that. So, that's an issue. For me, I live in a house with 3 teenagers. My daughter's boyfriend, because he has nowhere to live at the moment because his mother... So this is the irony there. He works in a supermarket, so he's around germs all the time. His mother works in a nursing home. And so the nursing home directive was, if anybody worked in a high-risk environment in her home, that she needed to either have self-isolation from them, or she needed them to remove themselves from her home, so that when she goes home, she's not around someone who could potentially be walking the germ around. So because he's actually working, he's a university student and he works in a supermarket, he's a high-risk person. But because I'm already a high-risk person because I work in childcare, we were kind of like, it's cool, come and stay with us. I've got a spare room. But then the irony is, my best friend, this is so crazy, my best friend from Denver, who I spent Easter with in Denver last year, which is just so crazy that I was in Denver last April for Easter, she's now here. She was here in Melbourne having a visit with some friends in Melbourne, and then she came to visit me as she was planning to go to New Zealand on her way home in a couple of weeks to America. And 2 weeks ago, she got stuck in Australia because New Zealand closed the borders. And she called me and she was like, oh my God, they've just cancelled my visa to New Zealand and closed the borders. And she was very naughty and she didn't take out health insurance on her ticket. So she lost all the money on her ticket. Note to anybody, doesn't matter how much you think it's a waste of time, buy travel insurance. Whenever you buy a ticket to anywhere in overseas, buy travel insurance. So anyway, she didn't get the travel insurance, so the ticket's null and void. Obviously, she missed the flight because it was, not on. And she gets to stay here in Australia. She can't afford the $4,000 it's going to cost her to go back to Denver at the moment. She doesn't have that kind of money. The worst part was the job she left in Denver, the guy who ran the place, said that he would send her a final paycheck, and she was expecting a couple of $1,000s from him when she was over here in Australia. She was counting on this money to come in. And then she got a message a week ago that the business went belly up with everything that's gone on in America, and that, the business went belly up and he's not sending the money. So she's broke.
Yeah, so that's happening all across the board with everybody, though.
Yeah, but she's stuck in a foreign country. She can't get back to America. But even if she went back, she has no job anyway. So she's now going to be my roommate for maybe 6 months. And she's trying to help me around the house and help me do things. But unexpected is the way I'd put it. Now, I love my girlfriend to death. She's just my friend. And we hang out all the time and we have a cool time. And she's a great person and she's one of my best friends. So that's not the issue. I didn't necessarily want to have another roommate when we're going into a more restricted social interaction thing. Now we're more restricted than ever. It's going to get worse, if not better. And there's more people in my house than ever. So I've got the girlfriend's boyfriend living here. I've got my friend from Denver. We've got all sorts of extras in my house at the moment. So it does make that personal space factor, just that little bit more full on when you have more people in your house than normal, and then everybody's home all the time. So, in a way, my job's going to be a blessing to go to because it will give me a break, but then I'm just going into a much more dangerous scenario of I'm in a childcare centre where you don't know where everyone else's kids have been this morning and did they wash their hands before they got there and touched everything. It's a really, really tricky situation.
Yeah, man.
But, Kat Smith wrote about the test result of taking 8 days. I believe they've sped that up now. They've sped that up around the world thank God. It was that bad before, but now it's down to 1 day. The volume is the issue of how many they can process, but they're getting it, Cat Smith, they're getting it down, and I'm talking about America too, they're getting it down to 1 day. So hopefully that will be bigger. I'm interested to see if someone talking about dating online and all that, I'm interested to see what happens. The longer we're in a lockdown, I want to see how people, is there going to be a whole heap of people in love, or, more than ever, with someone they meet on Facebook or online dating or something like that, where you can't actually go meet them, but, they're going to be having some seriously hot sex on video chats and stuff. That'll be interesting to find out as time goes on. The other thing I wanted to tell America, because I think that the government over there is censoring this as well. UK is in a lockdown for 3 to 6 months. Our government keeps telling us we're going to be doing this for 6 months. And we're not even in anywhere near bad shape as America. So over here it's very confusing when our government's saying this is going to be for 6 months. And we're like, what? Why are we doing this for 6 months? Okay? You guys are in a much worse state. They keep giving you 2 weeks to a month notice. I think you all need to readjust your thinking over there. You're minimum 3 months at this point. Minimum 3 months. It's been about 2 or 3 weeks for America to be seriously trying to keep you all at home. You got like 3 months to go. Your numbers over there of infected and death and every other thing that's going to happen, it's going to go through the roof in the next month. And then finally, maybe when you're reaching some really crazy numbers over there, even the non-believers are going to go, hang on, we have a problem. I can only hope if the people that are going to get it are going to be the people who don't believe it or someone they know, so that they get it. I cannot believe in this day and age there are people out there who don't believe science. It actually does my head in. And I'm like, well, if you don't believe in science, then science needs to teach you a lesson, give you a massive reality check. This is not an opinion. This is biology. And at the end of the day, all of us humans are just a biological species. So therefore, something that's to do with biology, you can't make it up. You can't just say it's going to go away because the weather's going to get warmer in April like someone else we know, because that doesn't even make any sense. And by the way, I'd just like to point out, when Trump did say that, we were laughing our asses off over here because it was summer in half of the world. Remember, just because you guys have one season doesn't mean the rest of the world does. So when Trump's saying, oh, when the weather warms up, it's going to just go away, we're over in the summertime over here going, it's already in countries that are in pandemic mode, and it is summer. So what is he talking about? Because heat had no variance on the virus, because it's not a factor into it. It might actually slow the spread, so to speak, but then in summer you'd think it would make the spread harder because more people are outside. So that, from a biological, geographical kind of perception, made no sense whatsoever. No sense. So, this has been interesting to say the least. But if anybody wants to invest any spare money that you have, you should be buying it in medical companies. You should be buying it in like any company that's to do with medical anything, because you'll make a mozza in that these days. The other one that I recommend people buy shares in, but they're really expensive, is things like Elon Musk's Tesla. That's the car, his company. It's just incredible, the stuff that him and people like him and Bill Gates are, producing out there and creating. And his shares are down, like all shares. His shares are down at the moment but they're the people who are going to be the ones making all the money in the future. They really, really are. These are the innovators. Whether we believe that they're part of the problem or part of the solution, they're going to be the ones who are part of the money. And if there's any way that you can get any share, start getting a share portfolio together of any of their stuff, that's what I'd be doing. I wouldn't be putting a cent into fossil fuel companies or anything. I'd be putting it into the weed industry, environmentally friendly energy supplies, and companies like Elon Musk's, and medical supply companies or medical pharmaceutical companies. If there's any way you can get your hands on any of those shares, that's the way to go, because they're going to make billions and trillions of dollars out of what's about to happen all around the world. They would all be laughing all the way to the bank. Maybe they're the ones who planted it all in China, I don't know. But the Chinese definitely have a lot of answers to the rest of the world about the fact they let those 5 million people out of Wuhan before they locked the city down. And for me, that felt a little bit deliberate. But that's just my opinion.
For shizzle. So yeah, Liz, we.
Oh my God, I love Nat Ward has put he's got a crossbow. Oh my God, I love it. You know what, dude? If I had to go into a zombie apocalypse, I would want a crossbow too, because you can reuse that shit. That is just brilliant. I love it.
I know. I hope it don't ever get to nothing like that. But we definitely appreciate you for keeping us up to date, Liz, on just the happenings and what's going on and stuff. We're gonna let you go ahead and enjoy your morning over there in Australia. What time is it now? You said you woke up at 7. So what time is it now over there?
It's 8:40.
Oh, okay. So man, you went on for like an hour and a half.
I'm sorry.
No,
I told you I had a lot to tell you.
For shizzle. It's all good, girl. We just over here on the YouTube channel.
Thank you to everybody who's been listening. I'm reading some of the messages now that you guys have written, and I appreciate everyone listening to my perspective on it all. I hope that if there's information that I did give out you didn't know before, it's helpful. But at the end of the day, remember, this bastard lasts 17 days on any surface. So if you're touching anything when you're out in public and you're assuming the virus is on it, you then think about it, then that might, if you can think, that's how I think about it. When every time I go outside my door, I'm like, what am I touching? And could the virus potentially be on this thing? Yes, it could. So how am I going to handle my hands after that? Am I going to touch, if you touch your face, your eyes, your mouth, that's how it's getting in people's bodies. So that's probably the biggest thing to take away from this. The rest of it, about the economics and China and whatever else is going on, the governments around the world should be halting any deals with any other foreign company and country, and halting it all. And that would outright right there punish China, because they're not able to achieve what they've done in Italy. What they've done in Italy, and they're attempting in New York at the moment, is a disgrace. But thank God my country was smart enough to stop all trade with them on any acquisition straight up, and they just nipped it in the bud. And America needs to do that too. I'm hoping Trump's onto it, because I know Trump's, he's pretty good when it comes to the trade stuff on China. So I'm hoping that his group is on it. The other thing, there's one more thing I wanted to tell you that I didn't forget to mention after all this time. Did you all know, guess who's in charge of FEMA and all your trillions of dollars that are going out the door? Guess who's in charge of it right now? It's not Mike Pence. It's freaking Jared Kushner. Jared Kushner is Donald Trump's son-in-law, married to Ivana. How the hell is he qualified to be managing all that stimulus money going out? And what it makes me think is that him and his group of people that are now controlling the American budget on that are going to ensure that all their buddies get the money in business that is allowed. There's $500 billion being given out in stimulus money to business. And what my fear is because now you know who's got the hands on the purse strings, that Jared Kushner, of all the people in the universe, he is like so corrupt it's crazy. He is now in control of your $500 billion stimulus money for small business. So what does that tell you? So they are going to double dip for sure. Those Trumps, real piece of work. They should not have anybody in his goddamn family, anyone related to him, anything like that, controlling that kind of money. If that had been Obama, the Republicans would have lost their shit. Absolutely lost their shit if that had been Obama. Can you imagine Obama got Michelle or her sister or someone who, you know, dated his daughter to go and be in charge of all the money for the country in an economic emergency? That is crazy shit. But that's what's going on. He's been announced as he's in charge of FEMA and he's in charge of the stimulus money now. So that's where your money's going to go now. It's going to go in the Trump coffers because they steal from cancer charities anyway. So unbelievable that that's even been allowed to happen. And if you don't believe me, Google fact check me. I just hope you will get your money before he finds a way to steal that too.
For shizzle. Well, yeah, once again, we thank you, Liz Giles. I'm going to be checking in with you in the backdrops, you know, so we can get another show schedule up on here, the Liz
Okay,
Giles
no problem.
Show. Yay. So, yeah, keep us updated.
Thank you very much for listening to me, and I hope everyone has a good day, and for God's sake, stay safe.
For shizzle, you stay safe out there too, Liz.
All right. Everybody have a great night.
All right, thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Yay. That was Miss Liz Giles on the check-in, giving us up-to-date information about what's going over there in the UK. I mean, Australia, my bad. Maybe we can get Miss London up here and she can let us know what's going on across the Pizon. Somebody said they saw a viral video from a nurse. I don't know what platform I was on this morning, but y'all said y'all had a video of a nurse that went viral saying something about the virus doesn't last in the air. Like once it's exposed by the air that it dies or whatever. Let me get that link of that video if y'all know what I'm talking about. I can't remember. I don't know if I was in Nut War channel. I was on somebody's stream this morning. They was saying that. And I was been trying to get that link all morning from somebody. So yeah, post that up in the room right now. If you got the link of the nurse talking about the virus can't survive in the air or when it's exposed to air. Return of the Mac lessons. Is that Tariq Nasheed or just a nigga that done stole all his content and uploaded it to their own channel? Because if you up in here pretending to be another nigga, you think you Tariq Nasheed, nigga, we got to get you up out of here. This nigga that made a channel, look at that nigga channel, man. Look at that nigga channel right there, man. Return to the Mac lessons. Nigga, you better be Tyreek, nigga. This nigga done stole all the nigga content. God damn. What's wrong with you niggas, man? Yay, what's up with the 5-star kingdom? You said Shanetta posted what on his channel? Oh, the nurse video? Oh, okay. Good looking out. Yeah, I want to see that. I don't know Tyreek personally, but I've been to his studio one time. I was at a place of business that was right next door to it. And I saw in the window it said this little sign like King Flex Entertainment. And said, I was like, damn, King Flex, that sound familiar. And then, I thought nothing of it. Then I came back to that same place of business and I saw King Flex Entertainment again on the door. And that's when the light bulb went off in my head. And I said, I wonder if that's Tyreek Nasheed shit. And so I walked over there to the door and there was this young lady coming outside. And I asked her. And she was like, yeah, it's his studio and stuff. I said, oh, okay. I said, I used to listen to his Mac Lessons radio show back in the day. And she was like, oh, okay. This nigga done got all the nigga content. I don't think Tyreek Nasheed approved something like that, man. He ain't finna let no other nigga plagiarize all this content like that. All right then, Malcolm. Have a good one, Playboy. Yeah, I'm about to step outside and hit this black. That's how you keep your lungs tight, man. You hit this bleezy, along with the sticky, the icky. Oh, we uploading hidden colors online and stealing content. Nigga, it's all his content. What do you mean? See, now, you over there mixing words up, nigga. You sounding unsure of yourself. Because if you had permission just to upload it, nigga, you wouldn't even talking about or try to make no other example of what's stealing and what's not stealing, nigga. If you got permission, you just got permission. You over there talking about uploading hidden colors online and stealing content. Approved and signed off by Tyreek. Yeah, okay, man. I may have to hit that nigga King Flex up, man. We just see how disapproved that shit is. Like I say, nigga, I don't think he'll let you have all his Mac Lessons radios like that.
This shit looks stupid as hell. What a tree.
Huh?
Oh shit. Oh shit. I didn't know that shit was gonna stretch across the screen like that. That shit look retarded. Gave your mom a douche.
Oh, what? What you put on the screen? Hold on. Oh.
Oh shit. What up, man?
Mitty says the number one defense against the Rona is titty sweat consumption on a regular.
Nigga, I feel like drinking bleach on this bitch. So, man, fuck, I don't trust shit now, man. What's that? Can y'all hear me or what?
Yeah, man. One day chicken, next day feather. Sorry about that. I was just trying to just read what this nigga King of Mac Lessons. I mean,
shit.
Mac Lessons.
All right. Man. What's happening with it, though, man? You all right out there?
Yeah, I'm strizzy. Probably need to go hit this shopping one more time because I just got word from one of my partners that they about to martial law this bitch in mandatory lockup. You can't come outside for nothing.
Word? When they say that shit?
They said within the next 2 days, so I'm figuring like over this weekend, that's when they gonna start implementing that shit. And by Monday, we probably knock down. They gonna put in that order, but at the same time, if they do that to us, they gonna do that everywhere. I already been hearing how niggas been acting ignorant out here in Cali, robbing shit. You know, running up in stores. The temperature outside. I remember I went to the store earlier. Niggas are just acting stupid for no reason. I was finna knock this white dude out because he just walking down the street yelling.
Can y'all hear me? Check. My fault. Can you hear me?
I hear you now.
All right.
I was finna knock this white dude out because he just walking down the street yelling and shit, and so he takes a bottle. He start walking towards my car, and I was like, "Oh, I'm finna knock Cuz out. He out here acting ignorant." And so he like walked. My car was in the parking lot, and he to the right, and he started walking right, but then he just walked right and picked up this bottle, and so he takes the bottle and just slings it up in the air, and it like goes in the middle of the street and damn near hit this car. This car had to like swerve from the shit.
So he takes the.
And I was like, damn, this nigga almost caused an accident and shit, right? So I said, I should just knock Cuz out on GP. I said, man, if he keep walking towards my car, I'm going to knock this nigga out. But he didn't, you know.
Hey, man, I'm piercing me a motherfucker. Y'all thought I was playing. I'm like, my other little crossbow's supposed to come tomorrow, nigga. I went and bought a crossbow and a bunch of arrows, nigga. And I'm waiting on these little spiral fucking razor tip little things to come, dude. I'm not bullshit. I'm about to go pierce me some motherfuckers.
Yeah, people are, you can just feel the energy. People are starting to act erratical and just ignorant for no reason and shit, man.
Yeah, motherfuckers do. Like, you can't, I'm not seeing, like, I saw last night a couple of videos or whatever. Like, you know, we was doing a little show, and after I put up all the little information, people were sending me emails, like, different little videos from Instagram. So I've been seeing, like, these niggas wilding and fighting and motherfuckers on the smash and grab. Like, you know, the big cities, Chicago, Detroit, New York, and like shit like that. Them shits is ghost towns. Dude, this weather just started breaking today. Motherfuckers is out. Dude, it's going to go down. It's going to go down ugly. Then I'm just seeing that shit. Like, it's about to go. It's about to get ugly.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. That's why they going to martial law this mug.
Get out of my room.
I'm what up, girl?
Kid. Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey, what's up with it, Lady Jizane?
Man, ain't much trying to talk about something different. I'm sorry. I just had to get that out. It was just in me, you know what I'm saying? It just like, but I know you like, you know, the radio for the people. You got to keep people going. So, you know what I'm saying? Entertain.
No, also, I just be trying to get like accurate information because the news, you can't believe nothing they telling you. So I'm just trying to hear firsthand information from the people that's out there experiencing this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to just get accurate accounts just from everywhere. You know, so I can put.
Well, I tell you what, I got an aunt who is a motherfucking like, you know, most of my family members, female family members, are nurses or whatever. But whatever, girl. But my aunt, my aunt is a motherfucking like a lead fucking. I don't know what they call like the head nurse or whatever the fuck. She runs the goddamn department and shit or whatever. Like I was talking to her and she's on the south side. She's like, yo, it ain't like that out here. Like it's a couple motherfuckers coming through. It's people coming through more scared that they have it than people that we're seeing.
I'm about to go now. I gotta go roll up and everything. I was like, man, this vape shit ain't working.
Damn,
But
you
yeah,
looked good,
it's.
Lady
I mean,
Jane.
I'm telling you, it depends on where you at. Oh, I just moved into my new place, so it's kind of like nothing on the walls yet. But
Well, Grizzle, goddamn it, you and your
thank you.
You was over there looking luscious laying down, Lady Jane.
I know. You know, you gotta pose. You gotta pose. You gotta pose. But now I'm playing. I'm about to head. I gotta go get me some green. They got the dispenser. That's what I'm like. You know what? I feel like it's just like where you are. Because you know sometimes where you say where you move to certain areas for a better school. You know, you move to certain areas for better opportunity. You know, so I
So
feel
you
like
move for the better weed.
you already know it. You already know it's legal out here. It's legal this way, but yeah, it's just like move, Jordan. All right, so what I was saying is that like we got, you know, like I was telling Alex, we got. I can go get some paper towels. I can go get, you know, a little bit whatever. I'm not, you know, it's
I
not
live by a
no
Mexican
worry.
store. Nothing ever ran out. You know, these Mexicans don't give a fuck. So we got
Man,
plenty of
and they got
alcohol
the
and toilet
laundromat
paper.
open too. They
Right.
got the laundromat open. So okay, so yeah. Oh yeah, let me show y'all my little kitchen. I've been trying to do decorations and stuff. Okay, so let me flip it. So, all right, this is my kitchen. So I tried to do the little, you know, decoratives and stuff. But you know, and then we got the, you know, the grow quick because I'm gonna grow my own lettuce and I'm gonna start growing my own herbs. I think this I got the wrong herb kit. I thought this was the other herb. I knew they wasn't selling this shit at Target. I was like, that ain't the herb that I think we talking about. And then let me show the. But this is how much they. This is our the sanitizer, $1.50. This little shit, $1.50. And trying to
Wow.
wipe my fucking eye. Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like,
We got a big one
I was
like
like,
that for $2.
I know. I was like, I go to the dollar store. The girl just one of my homies just called me, so that's another reason why I got hit off because the dollar store got bigger bottles, but and they get to get 4 bottles. And I was like, why the dollar store getting 4 bottles and Target only giving out 1 bottle? I was like, they got the shit all fucked up, but I ain't gonna complain. I'm just gonna head over there. Shit. You win. But this is my little look like a little mobile community. Let me flip out, take y'all. All right, this I'm going out to do. If y'all were talking about something else, let me know. I'm sorry. You know, I just
Oh no,
can't.
it's
I
all
just trying to
good.
change the subject for a minute. All
Yeah,
right, so
change the
yeah, this is
subject.
my little yard, my
Oh,
little
that's
double
cool,
wide.
Lady Jane.
Were you in a trailer?
Yeah,
Oh shit.
yeah. I'm in the trailer, and I told you I was moving to a trailer. That's why I wasn't on the other day. You know, because they were trying to play.
I ain't heard nothing about that
They were
shit.
playing. They were trying to say, "Oh, your ass ain't." You know, I'm like, "Wait a goddamn minute, shit! You got my deposits and shit. Now, you know, we got to get some moving going." But yeah, everybody like out and chilling. You know, let me turn around. Like everybody out, you know, just chilling. Got the gardens going.
What
Just a
state
little
you
cute.
in?
I mean, look, still, you should have had all that information by now.
No,
Okay, yeah.
come on, man.
She in
Stop.
Okay,
California with all that sun.
That's
yes.
Cali?
Who that? Who is that? Hey,
Hey, hey,
boo,
sis. Hey,
cutie.
Jay. The
Hey,
Scorpio. You have a
beautiful.
I didn't
beautiful
know that was
picture,
Cali. Like, I
honey.
don't be knowing where I thought motherfuckers was in Georgia or Florida or some shit.
Stizzo, that's wifey.
Huh?
Who's that? Who's the female?
I don't know.
That's wifey.
The Scorpio.
No, that's
Oh,
Hi,
Scorpio.
lifestyle.
Scorpio. Hey,
Nah,
beautiful.
my
I'm
girl
sorry.
just
I thought
walked
I,
into.
Hey,
I
pretty.
can't see. Hey,
No, my girl
beauty. Let me
just
shut
walked
up.
into the room.
Look at my kids. They supposed to be cleaning up. They fucking up the goddamn shits. And then look at it. They run around. My kids got like, you know, they like me a little bit, so they are crazy. Running in the house, acting like some goddamn shit.
They really think
What
they're on
play you got going
vacation,
on?
too.
That's what the hell I goddamn talking about too. But yeah, I wanted to talk about a bunch of other shit shit true. Like, let's talk
Girl,
about
did
the
you
men
see
and
them
men and what's going on.
sideshows?
How many people get fucked up? What happened?
You see
Oh, let me
them
put my video on. I'm
sideshows?
about to.
These
Huh?
fools. Tree, did you hear about the sideshows in Oakland?
Sideshows.
Oh shit! What they going
Nah,
on in
what's that?
Oakland?
Girl, they is out there still having sideshows. It was like 200 or 300 people out there, and the police
What's the
Girl,
helicopters
sideshow?
came.
What's the sideshow, yo?
A sideshow is when they go around and do dumb shit in the car, like doing dumb nuts and
No, it's
whipping.
not dumb.
oh,
That's our way of
oh.
life. Get it right.
But
Hold
dumb,
Yo,
on
hey,
now.
I'm from the Midwest, Scorpio. Put me up on game. What the fuck is a sideshow?
Well, a sideshow is a car show that we have that's been going on for over 30, damn near 40 years. And
Okay.
it started off on the weekends. People, and they buckets or they fixed up old schools will come through and,
Oh, so pull up in a post up and
do
everybody
some,
start kicking and shit.
yeah, and they'll
Oh,
some,
okay.
depending on your car, some will do donuts and stuff.
I
But
got
it's
you.
it's a everyday thing
Yeah,
pretty much
everybody,
now.
every town got that. Y'all call it a sideshow. They call it a post up out here. Motherfuckers to come
Hmm.
like in a particular parking lot or a particular mall or
Well, it's a little different where
shit.
we at because they like fuck the police. The police can't stop it. They'll block the police. It's just like that times 10.
No,
Like
not,
they
not got
run
you.
red lights.
No, I got you. Every city got an area like that. Cause out here is the lakefront out here in Chicago.
No, it's everywhere there. Like it could be on the back street in the cuts, and it'll be like 300 people. They
No, I know.
don't
You know what I'm
obey
saying?
the
Out here,
law.
we got to do it differently because of how it's set up. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
well,
California streets are different. But the way we got it out here is similar. It'll be 400 or 500 motherfuckers along the lakefront, and they'll be out there for a few hours. And then the cops have to come really deep in mass to make motherfuckers leave, and then they just move to the next spot. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, but
well,
they
well,
they don't have no district, no regard for the law.
No,
Like
I feel you.
well,
they'll.
go, well
Y'all
going
cowboys out there and shit.
going dumb and doing dumb shit. That's just Oakland slang. They
Right.
Yes, we go
Whoa,
they
dumb
do
you
it
said
too.
that too
stupid.
loosely, Blade. You said that too
Yeah,
loosely.
Blade, you from the Bay?
I got family from the Bay. I've been out there
Oh,
plenty of
you
times.
know we go
I've been
dumb
up in them
stupid.
sideshows.
Yeah, they can go
So
bad and you hit
stupid.
somebody's
So
car and lose your
stupid.
life.
Right.
Yeah,
Out there doing donuts and hit somebody's car,
It's
you be
on.
lucky to make it out alive.
It's
But
oh, and
on.
yeah.
they straight though.
So stupid.
But these idiots out there, I mean, they like 200, at least 200 people out there doing donuts. And I mean, it's a lockdown. And pretty soon, California is going to have the military, guarding the streets because it's business as usual. I thought people were in the house and I just ran and grabbed some food and it's traffic. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Still traffic out there, huh?
It's traffic at the dispensary. Okay. I had to
Yeah.
wait in line the other day for about 10, 15 minutes. But you got to keep
Damn.
the distance.
But
That's
you know the wild part
everybody got
is
a 6
traffic
feet distance.
everywhere. I'm seeing, but like man, out here for some reason, when the sun drops, these motherfucking streets get deserted out this piece. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, the best
God.
thing now is to get a connect with a grower
Yeah,
because the dispensary's cracking people's heads open, and you just cut the middleman out and get a connect with a grower, and then you good.
so that's that West Coast shit. You got to get with the plug and get you a nice little packs. You got to keep going back, man. Trying
Exactly.
to find that QP instead of
But
that.
Scorpio, wait, well, to everybody, look, my plug is okay. Like this, what happened last week. All right, last week I came over there to him, right, and he said
Mhm.
this was 60. All right, so then he said I got this new shit, right, but this one gonna be
Mhm.
75. Okay, so then I come back to him like a week later, and now he got the 75, but he got something for 100. Now
Oh.
I smoke a lot, you know what I'm saying? So it's like
Mhm.
for me, I'm trying to figure out the differences because I'm like, I'm going through that shit. Like, I usually like re up twice, sometimes twice a week, because you
He's
might be
selling
getting the
dispensary prices. Then he
Yeah,
must
I
have. What he got?
know.
Top shelf? Because
That's what I
these
was.
dudes
niggas is
they go
taxing.
to the dispensary getting a low grade weed and then go back to the street and upsell this shit.
Right.
They be
They
trying it.
taxing. Yeah, they
They be
taxing.
trying it.
So my issue was, how can I dispute them if I'm high all the time? Like I don't even know when I'm not high because like the shit is good, But it's like, is it $25 extra good on top of
Well,
that?
since
You know what
I
I'm
would
saying?
pull out a fucking what do they call those looking glasses, the magnifying glasses, and see if I see any hairs, any flakes on that
Well,
shit. Cause
he
ain't
had the
no
yellow
way.
Welcome
hair.
everybody.
It did have some yellow hair, and it smelled like a skunk. Like my mom said,
Okay,
skunk,
how
something
did
like
it?
that.
Was it
Yeah.
good?
Hey, Jane, I'm gonna help you with your weed
Black
system,
Bunny, you
man.
getting beat out of your
We
money.
gonna get you up on your weed
What? What's
knowledge.
up, the dude? What you
You
say?
getting beat out. You getting beat out of your money, Black Buddy.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
gonna have to get you. We have to get you on your weed knowledge, man.
no,
Yes,
because I like this
indeed.
dude. Because I mean, if I go to the dispensary, I'm gonna have to travel probably about 10 extra miles, 20 minutes, something like that. But him,
Oh
he right around the
yeah.
way.
Hey,
Because
yo, you
It's
you you somewhere where it's legal at anyway, right?
yeah, but there's
You
not
need to
one
get
in
up off
my
the gas, girl.
You should go ahead and grow
see
your
you.
own shit.
You gonna have to meet one of them growers that be going to the dispensary, like low key, like
You just gotta find
get
you
that
a good
number.
Mexican. Find you a good Mexican white boy. You'll be able to get you a zip for a good
the
125.
dude, I'm around him
Yep,
right now. I'm around him right
yep.
now, homie. There you
You
Like
just
go.
gotta
Pat Williams
start.
said, you gotta know when to have your white friends.
You gotta
Yep.
have a white
So
boy.
that's
White
what
boy
we
get
got, a
you a zip
white
for
grower.
125.
Hey,
We
Hey,
Tristan,
Scorpio.
huh?
I just want to interject when you saying, man, everybody out. I think only East Oakland niggas is still out like that. Everybody else is ain't no traffic and
Oh,
shit. East Oakland the
I
only one niggas is still
I'm
out, man.
sick of
Especially down
them.
there in little
Yeah,
Mexico.
it ain't no traffic
Little
in
Oh,
East
you
Oakland.
Mexico,
talk.
little Mexico.
Ooh, they done took the sideshow over. Like, and people think these Mexicans soft out here. Don't get it twisted.
But those the ones who showing up to those sideshows now coming from Stockton, Modesto, San
That
Jose.
yeah.
It ain't town Mexican.
But they got LA, LA to the Bay side show, so
Yeah,
LA
they got that
right
shit
out
too.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if this was back in the day, man, when we was having sideshows, them niggas wouldn't even
Whew.
be able to show up.
Nah, they wouldn't. It wouldn't. It's so. It's.
They
I
wouldn't have
would
been able
say
to touch
it's
the cat.
gentrified. It's gentrified now. But
Now,
yeah,
the young cats in East Oakland now, they ain't on that shit.
Ain't no Mexicans
yeah,
gonna be gentrified
That's
now.
all it is. 550 scared all the black folks away from the shit, and now here come the Mexicans doing what they do.
yeah. They and the Asians, they running it now. Well, they
But
got the plug, so the Mexicans kind of running it a little bit.
all I know is that like I'm about to have a talk with old dude because yeah, I'm like shit that 25 increase. I don't know what the extra trying to pay. Everybody bills on the low, wage right now and shit. I don't know what the fuck you talking about. The extra 20, 25. I'm gonna have to because like me and my mom share the same connect. So she be like, don't be trying to mess it up for me, because I be asking dude about shit.
Look, Mama,
You know.
don't play her.
Yeah, so she like, okay, you sure you want to ask him about that? Because I asked him about it when he went up the first time, and she was like, "What'd he say?" I was like, "He said, he will try to do better, but now he come back with another one that's 100 and a $75 bag." So I'm like, I'm gonna go with the 100, but I don't know if I'm smelling and smoking the same shit. So
We in
because I
tough
get
times
high
right
enough.
now, man. Even the dope dealers gonna have to add a little bit extra up on that shit, man. Motherfuckers ain't working. A lot of folks can't get that money to bring to them, so motherfuckers gonna have to up that price a little bit. So
I
that's
think
that's
they
what's going
Yeah,
added,
on too.
but they added toilet tissue prices and shit in the damn numbers, and
I
that's
mean,
not
man,
fair.
that's what they doing. That's what they
yeah.
doing.
I noticed the price of food is going up too, like milk, eggs, everything going up.
Hell yeah.
Man, I paid $20 for a 12 roll thing of tissue at Target.
Ooh, yeah, Target.
Damn.
See, there you go.
20
Target be
That's
motherfucking
having that
dollars.
crazy.
shit.
That's crazy.
And it's
Yeah,
already expensive as hell
yeah.
around this place. Like,
I'm trying to stop and
it's
see.
they trying to cause people to go crazy and have, crime and just
Yep, they had a shootout
bull.
down the street, and I was surprised. It was like a bunch of some white people go getting ham. I was like, white people be getting.
Oh
They
wow.
got the yeah, and they little
And they
neighborhood
getting
around the corner. I
frustrated.
was like, shit, they are serious little white gang. I don't know what they were throwing up, but it was cute. It looked cute. All the
Uh,
helicopters was out. Little white boy. They said this whole government on the goddamn loud thing. They said what it said, Jim Crow, whatever. You can come out now, whatever. I was like, oh, little white boys
dang.
running all around the damn neighborhood. The kids was like, "Oh shit, mom, we on cops." So I was like, "What you mean we? We about to get ready to pack up and get the hell on." I'm glad we moving shit, cause goddamn, they get
Okay.
thuggish around this bitch. But it was like, for old times, cause we don't have that, a lot. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't thugging, these neighborhoods. So I
Mm-mm.
just had a flashback of my old neighborhood. Good times, good times. Cause
That's
I was around
indeed.
when Mac Dre, cause I'm from Vallejo. When Mac Dre was alive, that was the homie. So we was
Yeah,
out
that's
there.
when Vallejo was off the hook.
Hell
Lord.
yeah.
See,
Yeah, I'm from
I
the
didn't
Mm-mm.
like, I didn't like.
BAEEJO. Hey.
I'm not the hypey Mac Dre fan. I like that too hard for the fucking radio Mac Dre back in 88, 89
90s.
Mac Dre.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
come to the north side
Yeah.
of the V, the T, the R, the E, the S.
ESP.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's where I'm from, the crest.
That's where the Crest didn't have Marine World and shit.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
way back in the days. I remember
Yeah.
they first built that.
Yep. And then I come back and got Six Flags and shit. I was like, what the fuck? What happened to the fish?
When Messy Marv rolled up over there pulling out a fucking AR-15 on them kids and shit, I
What?
was like, it's done changed a lot over there. For him
Man, I
to
ran into Messy
pull
Marv
up on them.
I ran into Messy Marv when I went to Vallejo about last year. He was like selling CDs still. So I don't know where
Oh,
he is.
that nigga's on dope.
He on them narcotics bad.
Okay, well I got that got a CD from him. He was on the,
That nigga snorting that hop and shit and
Dyeing
on
his hair
that
blonde.
huddle rock.
Yeah.
He on the huddle rock.
You
Yeah.
said Hubba. You 80s for real. I ain't heard Hubba in so it's so long.
Yeah,
Hubba
Hella, what you
rock.
said, Hella? Yeah. What's going on?
Damn.
Yeah, them huddle rock fucking niggas up.
It bought so much money in the city. Like, I mean, either you was smoking or you was selling. It was money everywhere. Every every block was getting money.
Got that shit right. Some blocks still getting it.
Yeah.
I just
Yep.
said I see these homeless though. Like I thought they would be policing them up, but I saw this one lady today. Her neck looked broke. I was like, damn, they ain't picked you up yet, baby. Shit.
I be
I was
wanting to
like,
cry seeing all the homeless in
I know.
Oakland in them tents and
Oh,
stuff. The saddest shit, all by the police headquarters. I'm like, y'all ain't shit.
but look, Scarf, it's a different look when you see white people that's homeless. Like you drive
Yeah.
past white people, like how you like you be like, you only used to like, black people. Nah, motherfucker, they white old
Mm-mm.
as hell
Young,
down here.
young too. I done seen young people out there in tents,
But you know,
dressed
it's
nice and everything.
a lot of them niggas, man, got TVs and shit in them motherfuckers
I'm
and
telling you,
riding around in Mercedes and shit.
Man,
man.
this look like that woman looked like she got hit by a Mercedes. She had one of them braces on her neck, and then had a like I don't know, like she got hit in the back, like one of those spine things. Like baby, they supposed to pick her up now. She looked like she over 60, and she don't need to be sitting on the sidewalk, deteriorate like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just gave her some change. I couldn't do nothing. I gotta save my money for my toilet tissue, but I was like, this is what I can do, for right now.
Yeah,
Shit.
that's sad. I be wanting to
I have to get
cry.
back on the road,
You know,
I gotta
man,
eat.
a lot of them 10 cities, man, the police ain't allowed to go up in there and shit like how back in the day the concerts at the Coliseum where the
Uh-huh.
police weren't allowed to come in there even if shit was jumping off in them 10 cities and shit, man. Police ain't allowed to go over there to fuck with them.
Oh,
So you get a
we.
lot of cats who do they hustling right up inside some of them tents.
It's
Right.
they little cities. They
Right.
like
They be
little
looking nice too
cities.
a little bit. They do be looking
Grand
kind of nice.
Ave. Like, oh my God, this. I mean, it's a beautiful city though. I mean, it's beautiful. It's so many $1 million homes, but when you go past MacArthur towards like East 14th or whatever, they
Yeah, it's
just
fucked up.
it's fucked up.
From
So
seminary all the way on down. East Oakland fucked up.
yeah,
I'm
and they
They,
already.
couldn't.
they didn't change shit. All they did was throw that little bus island down the middle of that motherfucker.
I was what the fuck is now East 14 gonna be one lane around? I mean, how is
Yeah,
that
one
gonna work?
lane.
One lane up.
What
We used to
two?
mob from Durant to downtown to the west on East 14th. And it didn't take. It took about 30 minutes.
All one
That was
lane.
way. No, that's crazy.
No, not too many people. Were y'all around when that dude? You remember that movie that came out with the, the history when the BART train in Oakland when dude got shot? What's the name of that movie? Y'all not seen it? I know.
Fruitvale.
Oscar Grant.
Oh,
Fruitvale. Yeah.
Friendship Station. What's the Friendship?
Fruitvale.
Fruitville.
Fruitville. Okay, got it. All right. Yeah, were y'all around during that time? Because I used to ride the BART all the time. Through there and go to
Hmm.
San Francisco and to Berkeley. We used to go shopping in Berkeley too and eat by the college. But yeah, when that went down, were y'all around then? I mean, I know I was in the
Oh
military,
yeah.
baby.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
city went crazy for a
We've been
minute.
around for all them shoes.
Shit, the Black Panthers. Shit,
Dang.
all I wasn't around, but my family. Shit, I was so proud to
That's
see
crazy. You
them
Shit,
in
said
their
like,
leather coats.
I grew up in the Felix Mitchell era to
Mickey Mo.
little Duro, Mickey Mo,
Hmm.
motherfucking Black Ant, and all them niggas, and
Frog them.
Frog, and all that shit. So there's a lot of shit niggas that
Pete,
grew up in.
when Peter got killed, I mean,
Yep.
shit, I was like, wow, that's now we was around before they had drive-bys. They started
yeah,
having drive-bys and setups and shit like in the 80s, something like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
We didn't know what the hell a drive-by was, and then people just, I think that was like LA started that though with the drive-bys, but
It was a good time,
dudes
though. I
get
wouldn't trade it, though. I wouldn't trade that life.
man.
and you
It,
serious too? Because I'm like, when my kids be asking me like, what? How was it in the 2000s and the 90s? I said it was like this shit here. We could never
it
goddamn
was
think about no goddamn shit flying around. We was too busy like trying to have fun, like for real, like trying to, like the biggest thing I probably was trying to do was like sneak some earrings out of what grocery store or some shit. Like it wasn't even like big, like it is
shit. I was
now.
on the street on the block. I jumped off that porch and lost my goddamn mind. I'm not gonna lie
Yeah.
to you. And
And
I
but see,
mean, hmm.
that goes back to the sideshow days, man. Back then, it was, man, we knew all the damn bras was gonna be at the sideshows from all over,
Having
so it was
a
just packed. So it was all a good time. Now they just
man.
congregating with a bunch of dicks out there and shit, man. You tell the state,
It don't be no women.
don't be
What
no
they
women out there.
and
And
remember
that,
the skating rinks? They closed them. I
Okay,
should have
Reese,
known
yes,
something was
there,
that. They done closed
Mayfair,
everything in the mall. They done closed the castle. What's the
4-Star
other?
Theater. You had Century
Man,
Theater.
remember
okay, so
the
y'all in
castle?
Oakland. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I remember Castle,
What was the
Malibu,
other thing? Yeah, Malibu. When they
Malibu.
took that shit, we should have known something was that. They start taking all the activities.
They
Mervin
taking
stuff
all our shit
packed
away.
up, moved out the mall. The J.C. Penney's, all the stores moving,
Yeah,
and now our mall got the welfare office, the Social Security, the WIC. Like that's our fucking mall. Like what
you
the
used to be
fuck?
able to go to that motherfucker and see a double feature,
For
Mm.
4-Star
like
Theater.
$5. Was it $5?
Shit,
Old
at a
ass
kid, shit,
movie.
250 and shit. Now they had
Old
brand new.
ass.
I saw Under the Cherry Moon at that motherfucker. I saw
We
all kind
saw
of new
Crush
shit at that
Groove. We
motherfucker.
saw Crush Groove, Beat
Fresh
Street.
Groove, Beat Street,
Yeah,
Breaking Two,
Crush Groove
Electric
sound good right
Boogaloo.
about now.
Oh yeah, Breaking Two was weak though, but that first Breaking, people had they little crews. They would go battle from neighborhoods. This was before crack hit. It'd be breakdancing crews because I used to be
Yeah.
tagging along with my uncles, and then they'll go to another neighborhood and battle them, breaking and shit with their crew.
And then when
We
the
used to
dope
have
came, niggas
fun.
started wearing derbies and with the motherfucking Playboy bunny on the
Y'all remember
motherfucker.
Surfers.
cross colors? Cross colors was the thing out here. I used to have a bunch of cross colors be geared up,
See,
going to
you
school.
younger. We had Homeboy.
Ah, okay. I
You,
thought I was talking
Look,
about
starter
80s then.
starter jackets and
look, look,
feelers.
look at Too Short's video. Life is too short.
Okay.
Blackmail.
Look at that video. You'll see blackmail.
Yep.
That was
My
our
kid's
shit.
father,
Too
he
short was
bored
my
and
Too
stayed in
short was the shit.
Blackmail.
I call myself the Too Short of Cali. I'm too short, my nigga. That is another nickname. Too Short of Cali. Female
Well,
Too
we
Short.
went back down memory lane. Tree was good.
I know, right?
Yeah,
What's
yeah, our
good with
bad.
you?
The Bay took over LA for a minute,
All
man.
I'm
day,
We go,
telling you.
all day.
But one thing I always respected LA and the Bay, even though we didn't crip and blood and shit, we always had a good rapport. I mean, they did try to come out and set up shop, but
what
other than
happened?
that,
They had
nah,
to skip
we,
to Sacramento with that shit.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
You know how we get
It was
down.
all bad. I remember them days. I think that's when drive-by started
Mm.
when the Bloods and Crips tried to come out. And it was just bad. But otherwise, we always had a good rapport with LA, and I respect that.
Yeah, man, from the
I
Bay
mean,
to
but is
LA.
that true though? Like, I hear people saying like you gotta check in when you go on the different. I mean, I ain't never heard none of my partners say that. None of that. Like you gotta check in with other crips when you go to different.
I ain't checking in, but I know where to go and where not to go.
Right, that's all we know. I don't even know where this check in. I think what it was who was it? MJ was talking about that. I gotta call check in
Nah,
this.
I just
Like,
don't
what the
wear
shit
red or
you're talking
blue.
about? What the
You
fuck
just
you
don't wear
checking
red or
in?
blue when you go out there to be
Mm-mm.
safe. I go
Right, you
visit our
already know.
cousins. We don't put on no red or blue.
Right, we just know. I mean, and if you don't know, and you get show real quick. So that's all it was. Somebody already told you, you ain't going in there no like
Don't know what
empty
But
makes
they
you
handed.
will
want to check
respect
in
it.
though.
I mean, if they just ain't just going straight off the hook with it, they will respect it if you come in. It's like, nigga, hey man, I ain't from here.
Right.
I'll do what y'all do. So you get some that'll respect that. But I feel like
Okay.
that's everywhere though.
Yeah, you just come in with some sense about you. Everybody like Cali is like real laid back. Even like my kids coming from East Coast over here to the West Coast, it's like even how they friendships or how they people greet them. It was just like they got a different vibe. As compared to living on the East Coast. I didn't have to go to school there, but they just this is their opinion saying that on the East Coast they felt they had to be wear more or keep up. They were more in the style as opposed to out here it's more into people getting to know each other, protecting. They just linked up like you from here. Oh, you whoop 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 whoop, we cool, and it rolled out. It was like they are good. So it's like a different feel on the different West Coast, East Coast for them though.
Hmm.
Down south with some shit, and I started fucking around down south and shit. And me coming from East Oakland, I'm out there feeling like, oh, nigga, y'all shit ain't shit out here. Y'all niggas ain't from
They don't like
here.
that uppity
They
shit.
hate that. I
They
look
hate that
too.
shit. Man,
Look,
went to a
I came
club,
from.
out there. And, oh, the first night I had just landed, went to the club that night. Man, all I'm hearing is ping ping. Really sitting watching. I'm like, oh, y'all niggas, y'all back here in these motherfucking woods and shit to kill a motherfucker and get away with it. Okay, okay.
One of my cousins died in a swamp, drowned. He was a
Down
good
south
ass
niggas,
swimmer.
down south niggas ain't playing neither.
Right. I mean,
Oh,
I left here and went to Georgia, and I left here when I was 16. Went to Georgia, man. Like I said, they cool as long as you cool, but they can get reckless as well.
Yeah, don't try to big up where you from too much.
man, they don't
Act
like
like
that
you
shit. I was
showing
like,
off
I
and
was like,
shit.
I remember I
It was
took,
bad.
we went to Chicago to visit a family, and I took Too Short Freaky Tales. That song long as
Hell
hell.
yeah.
They was like, turn that shit off. That's trash. It's garbage. Left my ass back
But
in the
see,
house. I was like, damn.
that's crazy
They
because see
didn't,
down
that,
south they was loving that freaky tail shit.
shit, not in Chicago. They didn't want no parts of that bullshit.
They was
Hell no.
loving that shit down south. I was like, oh okay. Every
Freaky
time
Tales.
I would
Especially
go down
the
there.
style.
Oh, you from Oakland? You know Too Short? Oh man, I miss them days.
Yeah, mine was E40. Mine was E40. You know E40? You went to school? I'm like, dang. But
I
yeah,
miss them days.
I left Cali and went to Georgia, even the style clothes I was getting talked about, they didn't understand the outfit. They didn't understand, like, they just said I dressed country as hell. It
What?
was terrible. It was
Huh.
terrible. Cause you coming from Cali going to Georgia, I don't know. They just said I had
They
my
just
cross
don't like
colors.
that I'm from
I
Cali
mean,
shit. They
yeah,
don't
they
want to
hate
hear
that.
none of
Don't
that
know, don't
shit.
nowhere like to hear that you from Cali.
I don't know why they be
Especially
hating.
especially if you moving in.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
If you moving in and you say, "Oh yeah, I'm out here from Cali," then you hate it right
they
there.
be hating.
Yeah, because
I don't know
I moved to
why.
Decatur, Decatur, Georgia. No, I mean, what, Stone Mountain? It was off. Oh no, it was off of Covington Highway. But anyway, man, over there, boy, they killed my whole school. I had it rough the first year too, man. It was kind of rough, but I
Mm.
fought a lot because I didn't like nobody talking about my clothes. These crossed it. Then and then I had the different color Skippy. I had, I just had, but I was just behind the time in Georgia. So. Mm.
And that's crazy because shit, I think them niggas be behind.
But that's what I was saying. I thought I was, shit. I did some futuristic shit showing up there. They was like, take your country. I was
No,
like,
some
damn.
places like it though. Some places be impressed, but not a lot of places.
I mean, a
Oh,
lot of places now, everybody label whores,
Yeah.
that's
but
true.
But
then
that.
that's the young
Yeah.
generation though. The young
Yeah.
generation is more label whores compared to where back during our coming ups and shit. I mean, yeah, you wanted to have some name brand shit, but you didn't
But it
mind
wasn't
that it came
important.
from
Yeah.
Macy's and shit, and it didn't come from no motherfucking high end ass store. That was our high end. If you was able to get something from
Hell
Macy's,
That's
yeah.
shit, you
true.
was bugging.
That's
Mervins.
true.
Remember Mervin?
Or Foot Locker.
Or at Foot Locker, and you didn't have to be a motherfucking Mr. Z's and shit,
No, I can't deal, Mr.
and
Z.
motherfucking Harfoots and shit.
Wait, them commercials on YouTube?
For
Aquafit,
Fuzzy and shit.
Billy. What was the Billy the exercise dude?
Oh
Billy.
man, the
Billy
jazzercise,
Blanks.
the jazzercise
That's on
dude.
YouTube. It's on
Oh, they got
YouTube.
him on there.
With
Oh,
the curl and everything.
Mr.
That's
Jazzercise man.
Beeper
Oh
City.
man, you
Beeper
must
City.
see Mama Rosa's Pizza.
Nasty ass. But
Hey,
that was the
that shit
only
came
one
in
that
handy.
delivered.
Yeah,
That's
that
the
was
only
the only
one that
ones who would come deliver to your ass, no matter how far you was at. Mama
any
Rosa was
hood you gonna
covered.
get a mama roll.
Mama Rosa was covered.
I'm weak. Y'all
I
don't
mean,
understand. I'm sorry, y'all. This shit be fucking hilarious. Anybody have a Jerry curl on here?
nah, I
Hell
tried to get
nah.
I
one,
know
and that
Tree.
shit,
Nah,
Tree, I
hell
that
know
shit
you
nah.
turned
have
my hair
one.
red.
Hell nah. I
Trizzle,
didn't.
Trizzle had one
Yeah.
on his beard. Trizzle had a
Hell
little curl
nah.
on his chin.
I
That
didn't
little
fuck
Tree,
with
you
no
curl.
didn't
Jerry
have.
curls.
Tree
Hell
Tree
nah.
looked like he got that good hair. He probably that
That's
shit was
what I'm
already just
saying.
natural.
Silky, silky. He didn't
I
have to
bet you had
spray
a
all
hey.
day.
I bet you had an S curl.
Nah, I ain't even had no
Come
S curl
on,
either,
Tree.
man. I didn't fuck with them Jerry curls though.
You
Them
did you
Jerry
to go
curls.
you
Hell
to go to
nah.
high top fade S curl look.
Nah, man.
Wave Nouveau, nothing.
Wave Nouveau, nah. But I did fuck with that Murray's. Remember that Murray's and that Dax and Sporting. What was the
Oh
other
yeah,
one called? I forgot what it
Yeah,
was
that
called.
Murray's the
Sporting
shit.
Wave.
Sporting
That
Waves, yeah.
Murray that Murray that had you walking outside with your hair looking white.
Unless it's hot.
You gotta pat it down with a
Yeah.
wet towel. You gotta
That
That's
pat it.
motherfucker that Murray's is sticking your motherfucking head like glue.
yeah, man. That
I
shit
was
stuck
If
in
low
your
key
head for
using that
weeks.
on my edges back in the day.
Trizzle did it
Laying my
right, your
shit
hair didn't move at
down.
all.
Hell nah, I didn't fuck with no Jerry curls though. Fuck up every collar, fuck up every pillowcase in the house. Nah, I wouldn't fuck with them Jerry
Man,
curls, man.
do rags be
Hey, that was around the time Coming America came out too. Shit.
No, I tried to do an S curl one time and left that motherfucker damn perm in. I was using some optimum and shit.
Oh no.
Man, my shit just went straight like a motherfucker. I'm like,
Yeah,
God
yeah.
damn.
It was like he got Indian in his family.
Yeah, I put optimum in my shit.
I'm trying to put my uncle. He like my brother. I'm trying to put a classy curl in this shit, and I took I took the rollers out too soon.
Oh
But the front roller I had rolled rolled down like in a bang.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
See, I'm the girl I
I
know what
didn't
she's talking about with the
know.
when the curls
Ooh,
go left instead of right.
them curls was. He just had an afro with curls at the tip, and that front would never go back. Like it was hilarious. We be
Your uncle
laughing about
angry.
that shit to this
Hey,
day.
I know sometimes I get an old school feeling and shit. And I go ahead and put my damn 501s on and crease them and throw on some Nike Cortez and shit with
You
the white
okay?
t-shirt. Look, I went to the
Sleeping on
store.
them Levi's.
Look, I went to the store one day and had that shit on, and Mexican Cat was like, "Man, I ain't seen that look in a long time. My wife would kill me if I dressed like that right now."
I'm giving an '80s party. I don't care what nobody say. So I want all
Wait,
the starter jackets, the feelers.
It's
Like
hard to find them starter jackets though.
I know.
It's hard to find the ones that used to be out back then. And then if you was broke, you had that chalk line.
Remember when Troop came out?
Oh
Who all
man, I
had
hated Troop.
Troop jacket?
I hated Troop. I hated Troop.
with the leather sleeves.
Yes.
I had
I was a
several jackets
lotto
like that.
person. I
Ooh.
didn't like Troop. I wore lotto.
Oh.
You didn't like Troop? Everybody liked Troop. Who
No,
didn't
I
like
didn't
Uh,
Troop?
like Troop. I didn't
All
like
I
Troop.
do is think of you.
Oh
what
no,
did
not
you
the
have,
group. Not
Tree?
the group. We talking about the
We
clothes.
talking about
Oh
the
shit.
outfit.
Oh,
Yeah. Tree, I know you had a troop out
but girl,
a
but
troop
okay. I was like, who likes
what
Troop?
is everybody had that. Tree, what you
And I
used to
sung a
rock
song. Boy,
back in
She,
the
she
days?
thought we were talking about the music
see,
group.
I think I'm high all the time. See, I
No,
think
the
I'm singing
leather
to you.
troop jacket.
Oh shit. She
Tree,
thought
is
we was
Tree
talking
here?
about the group.
Tree, what you used to rock back in the days? Is he gone?
He
Troop
must
will
have
be
stepped
making him
away.
sandwiches and
He
shit. He be
making
taking
moves,
sandwich breaks.
okay? Um, so you said Deodora?
No, Lottos. I remember Deodoras too. I remember
Oh,
Elise.
yeah. I remember kangaroos. Oh
Hell,
man,
I was just about to say kangaroos. I had one with the zipper.
my dad was so mad at me. He took me to Mervin's trying to give me some generic shoes. I was like, no, Dad, you don't understand. If I go to school, I can't I can't come pulling up to the school with those generic shoes. I begged for the kangaroos with my little zipper. He was so mad at me, but you know how kids are. If you come to school with
Man,
like generic shoes,
I remember when Beat Street came out, them niggas wearing them Pumas. I mean, I
oh
begged my parents to give me a
yeah,
pair of them Pumas. Man, they got me a
yeah.
pair of them Pumas, but they didn't give me no more shoes. So now these Pumas is everyday shoes. Man, the
Slapping.
motherfucker, the bottom of the motherfucker started having a hole in it and shit. I had a hole
Rocks
at the
and
bottom of
shit.
my Pumas.
Rocks getting into the bottom of your
I was fucked up like,
them
these
suede
motherfuckers
ones.
cheap.
Them
These
suede
motherfuckers only
pumas.
good for break dancing. You can't play in these.
Nobody was wearing Nikes then. It was Adidas. Like when
Yeah,
Run DMC
Adidas,
came out, Adidas, my
Adidas,
God.
and Converse.
Shell toe. Oh, for sure. For sure.
Adidas,
Converse
Stance,
always gonna be in though.
Converse weapons. It was that or Adidas.
Remember them goddamn karate shoes that was in style for
Yeah,
a
I
quick
remember them
minute?
motherfuckers. Yeah, I
Them
remember them
Korean
motherfuckers.
shoes.
I heard
I,
motherfuckers walking
I
around them.
slapped this
Hey,
dude, slapped the
niggas
fuck
thought
out of
they was
him.
Bruce. They thought they was Bruce Leroy Jr.
Right. Cause I got into it with this boy over a kickball game. No, I had jellies on. And he ran up on me. I took and slapped the fuck out of him with my shoe. Oh my God.
I
But them
remember them
damn
jellies.
karate shoes
Yeah, them
when
karate shoes.
jellies came out.
Motherfucker. Jellies
You
used to have y'all feet
hey
braided in a motherfucker.
sweaty as hell. And tan. Your feet gonna
And
be
had that
tan.
pan on that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me a
Yes,
Yeah,
little
we
bit?
hear you.
ma'am.
No, yes, yes. Okay, yeah, I'm about to start moving, so I might cut off. I'm gonna put it on mute though, 'cause I gotta go to my destination, but I'll
Okay,
be on
sis.
mute.
I love that steering wheel. That
All
look
right, Shannon.
comfortable. Okay.
It's smooth too. It's antivirus.
Okay.
Hey,
But
motherfuckers need to keep
Stupid.
Clorox wipes up in their car.
yeah, I have a
Get you
travel
some
pack.
Clorox wipes.
Hmm.
Wipe down your steering wheel, your gear shift, your turn
I got some
signals, your
Clorox.
radio dial. Wipe all that shit down with some Clorox wipes and shit.
Man, they
But
did
I,
that. My kids just after they did that, they
Everything
wiped
that
that
you
shit
touch
down
in that
real good.
motherfucking
It's
car,
crazy.
everything that gotta be touched, Clorox wiping.
yeah, they said like, I don't
Yeah.
know what city it was, like almost 400 people died in one day. I'm like, this shit
This,
getting
this, this,
real.
is- this shit
Mm,
is crazy.
But I think we had it already in
fuck that
December.
Coke
I,
beer.
I, I
Yeah,
swear.
this shit been around for a minute, and
Yeah.
anything that you really pretty much come up with symptoms of, they're gonna say that's what it is right now. When it could just be a
And
regular little cold.
if you test positive, they send your name to the CDC.
Yeah. Now you
I'm
got to
like,
be
what
locked
type of
up,
Oh
shit?
man, I'm a fucking.
What type of shit that
and
they do
I
that
know that's some bullshit.
for
if that,
diseases that's communicable, that you
if,
could pass to other people, like sexually, like AIDS or something. That's
mhm.
when they report to the CDC. But this one went from a virus to a disease. Like you can keep catching this shit. Like what the hell?
Yeah, no matter what, it's gonna be around. In a way, I still feel it's cool, but it's fucked up because if your immune system is bad and you get this shit, these motherfuckers don't even want to give you the respiratory thing, man. They'll give it to you for a minute, and if you ain't working off on that respiratory machine,
They letting
they
your
gonna take
ass
you off.
die. Yes,
And you don't have no family there to say no, no, keep it going. They looking at it all. We got to save the next person that come in until we can save them.
exactly. They
So it's
don't let
cold shit
doctors
right
and
now.
nurses die. Now
Hello.
you
It's
know
cold
shit
shit.
bad.
That shit just went away.
Did you hear that Santa Rita had it? Because I heard
I
that
didn't. I
weeks
didn't hear
ago.
Santa Rita. I heard.
Mm.
I heard. I think I did hear somebody in there did have it. I don't know if it was an inmate,
Mm-hmm.
but
Or employee.
they
Yeah.
got them motherfuckers separated
What
now
day
to
is y'all
where
talking about?
if they were supposed to go to the pen, they ain't got to go to the pen now.
They're not letting them out, the
No,
non-violent offenders.
It looked like I left the
they letting
show.
some out.
Okay.
That's
Good
They
shit.
crazy.
letting some out, but they not letting the ones who supposed to go to the pen.
This
Nah,
shit
you ain't
fucking
getting out.
weird.
Dang. That's cold-blooded.
Your time was supposed
Hell
to be
nah.
counted. Then you
I'm
getting
getting
out.
shit.
So if you
Mom,
in
I
there
don't
and
need to feed
somebody
y'all. We
got
need
it,
toilet tissue.
it's
Y'all need
just
to eat the
like,
toilet.
Ma, the soda.
yeah,
They say they
that's
got them
crazy.
separated, but I
Mom, can
don't
we
know.
also get ski mask?
But they have
So we don't
ventilated.
get the coronavirus. Shut up. Fuck that beer. Oh,
I
dude.
want the ski mask, Mom.
need my shoes.
Why you in the car there without shoes?
I need to get on coat. Can
I
you
don't
please
even know
get
I'm
me
still
these?
on. My thing
Let
cut
it
off.
hang,
Shit.
girl.
All right. But it looked
Man,
like it, huh?
let me go on
All
ahead,
right. So,
man, and clean up after my
hello.
grandkids and
I
shit.
think I'm on. Let me see. Hit that
Okay,
pen button.
Be checking
it
in.
was
Good hollering at y'all.
for sure. This landlord.
Yeah.
You already know. Town
All
business.
right,
Let's go.
folks. All right, town business. The one and only. All
The one
right,
and
I'll
only. It's all good for
see.
sure.
For sure,
All
landlord.
right.
Have a good one, player. Good looking out. Yeah, you
So,
still with
Tree,
us?
what you used to rock back in the days? What you used to wear? I know the
Can
Cortez
you hear
for
me?
sure.
Oh yeah, the court. Yeah, we hear you, Lady Jane. You hear us?
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to rock all that shit, but you know, us, the LA niggas, we was on them khakis and Chuck Taylors and, you know,
Yeah,
K Swiss,
yeah,
white tees, hoodies,
yeah. Y'all been doing that
you know.
from the 80s.
But besides all that, we
Probably.
did used to wear them, you know, Levi's, what else, the Troops, the Filas, all that shit, the
Yes,
Elites,
indeed. Yes,
the
indeed.
Guess.
Yep, Nikes wasn't like the shoe of choice back in the days for some reason. I think when Jordan came out,
Yeah, the only
he
time we
just
was
took.
fucking with Nikes was with the Cortez.
Yeah, that was the first shoe. You right about
Mm-hmm.
that.
When
But
they,
that was the only shoe people really was buying.
yeah,
And then Jordans came out, and it was just a wrap after that.
it was.
But y'all still do the Cortez, though. A lot of people in Cali still do Cortez.
Man, ain't nothing like a fresh pair of Cortez, man, or K Swiss.
Clean too. The blue and white. I used to love my blue and white ones because they go good
Mm-hmm.
with the 501.
Remember the females back in the day used to wear the Cortezes with the footsies, the little ball coming out the back,
Oh, yeah,
the
the
footsie
low.
socks.
What
Yeah,
they call them now?
I don't know what they call
Yeah,
them
the
now.
matching.
Yeah, they call them footsies back
Did
in the day.
Did y'all put letters going down the side of y'all leg
Yeah, all that,
on the
man.
pants?
All
Them
that,
was the
man.
fun days. These kids, they don't even go outside and play or do nothing. They
None of
be in the
that.
house all the time.
Or they got rainbow colors. They just let the. I just got word right now. They just let the little rainbow kid up out of prison. The little boy, Takashi 6ix9ine.
Oh, he got out.
They hit an
Dang.
early release.
Who gonna work with him? Who you think gonna work with him first?
That's what I'm waiting to see.
Mm, mm, mm.
I bet during these times of need right now, I guarantee it was gonna be a lot of people jumping on this bandwagon regardless, because anything you put out probably gonna go super viral. You feel what I'm saying? So they
Right.
want to ride that wave to get some cheese, right? But now even
Mm-hmm.
more, because he gonna put out songs, as soon as he get out and shit like that. I'm just interested to see who gonna collab with him.
Yeah, because it's like money or your reputation,
Mm-hmm.
your street cred. Who like you said, who gonna bite the cheese first?
Yeah. So they said he
Mm.
denied witness protection.
He denied it.
Yeah.
Oh, he trying to get fancy, ain't he?
Yeah, he
He
trying to get super
crazy.
fancy.
Mm. It's gonna be a bounty, or somebody gonna try to get him just to have that name. He like a dead man walking because some people take snitches seriously. I'm just saying,
Yeah, it's gonna be
like,
interesting to see, man. I'm just sitting back watching now. I'm about to watch a little six
yeah,
nine Takashi 6ix9ine series.
yeah, because it's gonna be drama, 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 drama.
Definitely. Do they got to they gonna lock Cali down, man. So anything you need to do, I got word from my peoples that they finna martial law us over the weekend probably. So get
They
everything you
need
need.
to, and I'll say that. I mean, not for the people that got to go to work, but we were talking about the sideshow earlier, and the news been showing that birthday party with people resisting law, but people not taking it seriously.
Nah, they
Like
not.
it's traffic and shit on the streets. I'm like, y'all crazy.
It's traffic here. People roaming around like it's just everyday normal business and shit. So, you know, people ain't taking the shit serious and they're about to clamp down more. That's just is what it's gonna be for the next few days or whatever until we see what's to come.
They just said on the news those checks coming in 2 weeks. So I guess that's okay, but people rent due by the 5th. Like it's some bullshit. It's crazy.
And I
People finna start going crazy.
and just deferring bill payments and stuff like that, man, that ain't even a cool thing because you still gotta pay that shit in the end. Then you're gonna be playing catch up like a motherfucker. So I'm just trying to like
Yes,
basically stay on top of my shit regardless.
yeah, that's what we doing, paying everybody that needs to be paid because they is not gonna pull it. And then the money that they sending is gonna just be saved because we don't know what the hell's the future holding with this. They saying up to 200,000 Americans gonna die from this, and that's being nice about it. So
Yeah.
I would advise people to try to save as much as they can out of that stimulus check.
True that, man. 1,200 ain't no money, man. They just finna give us one time payment of 1,200. They gotta slide us a little bit more, man, if they gonna lock the doors on us.
I'm telling you, because 1,200 to go a long way in a small state, but big states like New York, California, Chicago, like it's like okay, what now?
That's most people rent
Like
out here. Just rent alone, 1,200. You know.
man, and they gotta wait 2 weeks plus a late charge. Not to mention food and other bills, credit card bills, mortgages. They should have just froze people rent, like just, halt rent and mortgage. That would have helped people a lot too, because being homeless ain't gonna be beneficial. Because landlords don't have the luxury to say, okay, we know what's going on. You don't have to pay us because they got to pay. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's hella crazy, man.
They didn't know about this. I think we already had this shit in December. And then Meek Mill had said he was sick in December. Like, I've never been that sick in my whole life. Hubby was sick. He fainted. Um, just sweating. We were sweating, fever,
Yeah,
just
I had something
crazy.
similar to this shit last year, and the doctor, because I asked the doctor did I have pneumonia. She couldn't tell me what I had, so I'm assuming, that I had like
Hmm.
a strand of the coronavirus, because that shit attacked my respiratory system, and I ain't never
Like no
not been able.
other.
Yeah, I ain't never been not able to breathe, and that shit was
And not
scary.
smoke. I couldn't even smoke.
Yeah, me either. I couldn't do
Oh,
nothing. Barely can motherfucking breathe.
yeah. Was that in December, you said?
Yeah, but this was I think December of 2018, if I remember correctly. Because I remember I was
Wow.
bedridden for like 2 3 weeks. But I
Somebody else said that too.
but I beat this shit on my own. But I still had my
Hmm.
shoulder was fucked up. I had this shit called frozen shoulder. So that was giving me more problems. But it was like the last little end of the little whatever that was I had, and I had went to
Hmm.
the doctor, and she couldn't. She took some chest X-rays. They came back negative. My lungs were all clear and shit like that. But
Because
she
they wouldn't know what it was.
yeah, she
They
couldn't
didn't
tell
know.
me. She couldn't tell me what the fuck I had though. You know.
I think it's been out on some real stuff. And then another YouTuber on another part of the country, shout out to him. He was sick like that real bad. And I think it was around the end of 2018. Um, he was real sick. So, whew, I don't wish that on nobody. And it took me like weeks to get like back 100%.
Yeah, I
But
just feel
we,
like they playing a cold game with us, and we can't do nothing about it, man.
yeah, we don't take like over the counter medicine. Like we drink a lot of honey, vitamin C, airborne stuff like that. Because the medicine sometimes make it get worse
Hmm.
before it get better.
Yeah, I'm pumping myself up with vitamin C, vitamin D, little shit
Hmm.
like that.
Yeah, to have a strong immune system because we don't get the proper nourishment. Especially if
Hmm.
you work a lot, you don't have really time to cook a healthy meal. So a lot of us eat, out a lot. Crazy.
Yeah, yeah. What's up with the Blade Brazil?
I went and got some Filipino food though. I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah,
get sick.
I'm about to re up on groceries because I heard Cali about to get shut down
Shut all the way down, huh?
all the way down.
Maybe that's why people out like this.
And I believe it, man. They gonna make us the example first. That's how
I'm
they get
telling
down
you.
with Cali, New York. You know, Chi-Town. They make us the example. Then they implement stuff out to the rest of the country and states and shit. But they'll start with us first.
Yeah. Well, out here, the essential business. You know what? They made the hair and beauty salon part of the essential businesses out here.
Where you at?
I'm in Arizona.
They trying it.
That
Yeah,
weed
they
I
business,
can't get
man.
my ends clipped to save my life.
and other states is tripping over that. They're like, how come the governor is not taking their part in preventing measures of locking down everything? You having hair and beauty supply stores open as essential businesses.
It
Hey,
kind of is. I put a video up about this Amazon driver going the fuck off, and he said books are essential. Dildos are not essential. Because he like they risking their life, and these hookers want to keep ordering dildos. But
hey,
it's an argument. They are essential to some. Like he wasn't having it. He was upset about it.
I guess
Hilarious.
I guess on the same note, you could say gambling's essential because I got a habit to gambling.
You
Man,
can do online gambling, so
yeah,
Oh, that didn't risen online gambling, man. Everybody probably gambling like a motherfucker.
hell yeah, gambling like a motherfucker. Uh,
I never win. I think the most I ever won was like $200, so I never caught the bug to gamble. I hate losing money. Shit.
Shit, me too. That's why I never really gamble. Like I gamble on I gamble on myself. Like if I'm the
Like
controller.
the slots or something, or
No,
what
no,
do
no,
you mean?
no. I mean, like if it's a one-on-one basketball game, or if my homie want to bet me $100 if I make this shot, or shit like that. When it's like
Oh yeah.
myself, when I can
Mhm.
control everything, then yeah, I
Mm.
gamble like a motherfucker.
It's rigged. I'm sure it is. Even the damn bingo halls.
yeah, that's for sure. So what's up with this? I know I heard something about it vaguely about them shutting down the internet for 3 days, something
Yeah,
like
that's what
that.
I've been hearing, man. Now since your
What?
comments, cut one. Stop trying to get my attention, man. This nigga coming here typing like a secretary, nigga. Stop trying to get my attention, cut one.
To the
Yeah, this nigga coming
secretary.
here with his bomb ass secretarial skills. This nigga done type my name. GTV radio, GTV radio, GTV radio. This nigga done type my name like 300 times, nigga. I see your bitch ass, nigga. We conversating right now, boy.
You be having me rolling.
Yeah, I'm so square ass nigga, man.
But Tree, look at me.
Yeah.
So they shutting the internet down for 3 days.
That's what I
They
heard,
said
man. I don't know
they
what to
said
believe no more.
What?
they said possibly. It might if they do, they're gonna do a whole lot of scrubbing and probably might do some more shit in the streets.
That's gonna cause motherfuckers to flip and come out their house. They better
Yeah.
leave this internet on. I guarantee
For
you.
real, huh?
No
Cause
Netflix, no nothing.
my nigga,
No PS4.
they shut the power down for like a few hours in my neighborhood one time, a long time ago, right? And nigga, I was lost. I was
I
lost
was
without
lost.
nigga. I kept running out to my car to get it charged. Like I couldn't get no charge, no internet, wasn't nothing, right? And I got thinking to
That's
myself,
scary.
like, nigga, what if they really take this internet down one day?
Mm.
You ain't gonna be able to survive. I'm telling you, you're gonna lose it, my nigga.
Yeah,
3 days?
people live off the internet, especially their phone. Oh man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I was going through
'Cause
it for
I
a few
mean,
hours.
was you jonesing like having
Hell yeah.
withdrawals?
And then you get like worried because you ain't got no power in the house and you can't charge your phone. So you be like, oh
Yeah.
shit. So I kept running back and forth to my car, turning on my goddamn car, charging my phone just to have some internet access and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to be prepared for stuff like that, though.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got a lot of camping equipment, so if push come to shove, see, we can go camping. Propane and all that, but
Yeah.
we have to
Yes.
be prepared.
Yeah. So. Oh yeah, being a prepper's gonna be a big economy after all this shit clears up.
Um, mhm.
Ari J says suicide rate will jump because people live off likes.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be hanging
Damn,
themselves.
that's true.
They're gonna be trying to record that shit and upstream it, but they can't. So it's just gonna be on their
Damn.
phone.
Yeah, this dopamine, man. These likes is a drug, man. Release that dopamine in motherfuckers' brains.
Yeah, I know you motherfuckers can't function without the internet. I don't give a fuck. I'm reading books, drinking water, fasting like a motherfucker. I don't give a
That's
fuck.
real.
Nigga, you gonna be running around pacing, nigga, sweating and shit. Niggas ain't like, fuck that nigga. I'm finna go see what's up down the street. Man, I need something. You don't even need nothing out the house, nigga. You gonna be making up excuses, nigga.
Ain't nothing down the street but some kids playing in the park, playing basketball. Ain't nothing going down.
You gonna probably go try to test your jump shot out, nigga.
Give me the ball. Let me show you how we used to do.
Yeah.
Nigga try to hit a jump shot and he go out. Oh no.
We got a million DVDs, but we don't got a damn DVD player. I was just
I think your computer
What
can play
could
it
you?
though.
I don't even have a. Do I have a drive on my computer? It's probably on the back somewhere. But damn, what would we do with no cable? Netflix.
Well,
Mm.
Mitty said it's gonna be Purge Pandemonium edition. A lot of drama.
Mm.
That'd be crazy if they shut off their internet and then 7 o'clock hit, and then next thing you know, you hear that. Brrrr,
And my nigga, you gotta know it's gonna be an uprising from the people, my nigga. I mean, niggas be uprising over motherfucking college football games and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you already know it's about to be an uprising, man.
You can feel it, huh?
Yeah.
If they do cut off the internet for 3 days, it'll probably be over the weekend.
Because they already pushed us into a corner, man. They've been lying to us, pushed us in the corner. Motherfuckers are about to react. Trust that.
Yeah, and you can't stream and broadcast what's happening inside of America either if they shut that bitch down for 3 days.
That mean they gonna be uploading everybody content and shit on their computers, or what? You know how they doing something. Probably tapping everybody on 5G or something.
Yeah, and after the 3 days is over, you come back to YouTube, you see a whole lot of new changes. You see old channels up out here, shit shut down. Probably have to pay to get back on YouTube.
They doing something.
Yeah, because what's the name gave me this message? Sorry about that, Scorpio. They gave us this message on Streamyards and said, I can't really read it right now because I would have to go back. Wait, hold on. Let me try to pull up another Streamyards and I'll read exactly what it says. They gave you this warning. Something's about to happen in 4 days. Hold on. I hope this don't.
Oh, my God.
Scary.
The thought of it just sent a chill.
Okay, well, I can't see it right now.
You can't, no Fire Stick. Like,
I'm pretty sure you have your cable because cable's always been there before the internet. Shit.
Cable is digital now. Yeah. So like Comcast, would Comcast go out?
I doubt it, because you can have cable without the internet.
Really? Why is it all hooked up to the internet box then?
It's all a program package.
So I guess we just some sitting ducks.
Just like the cordless phone you got at home that you don't use. That's all part of the package. Fuck, I need a home phone for.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We'll hear you now.
Okay, I'm gonna go out and come back in because I just.
All right.
So while it shuts down, they're gonna flip it to 5G. That's a possibility. And that 5G, it reaches too. You can be all the way underground, and you would get a full bars. Yeah, 4G, sometimes your shit'll go out under certain passages, like through the fucking
little freeway tunnels, all that shit.
Yeah, little freeway tunnel. That 5G, you be in the underground bunker. Motherfuckers got full bars.
Damn.
I think that's another way to get all them fucking preppers that got underground bunkers cool too, because you could ping their location.
Cut one, if you was blocked, how could you type right now, man? Do you want to get blocked? Like, damn, man, what type of dude are you, man? Stranger ass nigga begging for another stranger man's attention, man. Nigga can't just ignore you. Just beg a nigga. Oh, Tree, I see you. You ignore my messages now, Tree? Tree this. TreeTvRadio this. TreeTV. Calm down, man. Little Iranian ass nigga, man.
Yeah, man.
Nigga Haji off Johnny Quest. Calm down, Habib.
Calm all the way down. Take it down a level. Yeah, man. Another thing a lot of people need to be worried about is that the radiation, the large amount of radiation that she's going to give out, and what it could possibly do to the human body.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Have they tested it out? They said that's what all them people got sick off of in Wuhan, was initially from that 5G being dispersed.
Yeah. So any predisposed elements you may have, you can activate that shit. And then you can go in a full-blown stroke. You can be driving down the street. Next thing you know, you blacking out, swerving in somebody else or in the house. Because 5G done activated something in you that made that shit happen.
I can't even fathom this movie shit. This motherfucking movie shit they pulling on us, man.
Yeah, boy, straight movie shit. They say that's the same.
Have you seen?
Go ahead.
What you say?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Hear you perfect.
Somebody. Okay, I'll come right back. Sorry about that.
All right. Yeah, this feel like some straight motherfucking out the movie type. Matter of fact, it seemed like the movies is more pleasant. It seemed like this shit worse than the movies.
You in the movie? What part do you play? Are you an extra? Are you an extra that dies? Are you an extra that lives? Do you have a small role?
I know, right? Some of these niggas gonna want to play the hero.
Nobody want to play the hero
and get murked.
Villains win in this movie.
Yeah, get murked in the first scene.
Body like a motherfucker. Yeah. They say the 5G is the same radio frequency that they use for these fucking these governmental microwave guns that they got. They can melt your ass with.
That's just crazy as hell. I don't understand. Well, I do understand in a sense. So what is after 5G? 6G, then 7G, then 8G. This shit ain't gonna stop.
I think it goes all the way up to 10Gs. I think China's working on already working on 6G.
Wow.
Yeah, but you gotta protect yourself. They got all type of they call it EMF. They got all type of EMF prevention things from shit you can put on your phone to reduce the radiation of it.
Yeah, I heard you. Thank you telling me about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up with it? Welcome back, Lady Jizane.
Man, you sound like baby. That's how you sound right now.
For real?
That's why I be like, hello.
Fuck these Beats earphones, man. No wonder they was on sale. Somebody
No,
tricked me.
we swimming over here. That's why you sound like that.
I know y'all sound like y'all with Dory in what's that movie? You know the movie with. I'm ordering from Panda Express.
Man,
I ain't scared.
the link is has been drop cut. You know what I'm saying? It's in the description. It's all that, man.
Said I ain't scared of getting Panda Express. I don't blame you. That'd be the only Chinese food I probably get.
Man, Blade, I can
Panda.
hear you.
I can't fuck with that Panda. I like this ramen places now, Blade.
Yeah, they can get along.
You know, once you have some of that ramen up in your life, or get you some authentic Chinese food, you can't fuck with that shit that's been sitting out in the light.
Yeah.
You gotta eat your Chinese food hot.
Hot, you know. I don't need that shit that's sitting under the light bulbs and shit. Fuck that.
What is that?
That shit be soggy.
What? I mean, it's still hot light bulb. Hot light bulb.
I know, but it just, you know, the texture of food changes once it's been sitting out for too long, you know.
Oh, you gave the food? Thank you. Oh, girl, look, Tree, I've been sitting here and she done gave me the food already. I'm like, what you need?
She probably thought you was trying to pass her that Rona.
Hell yeah, she lit up too. She got black gloves on. I was like, damn, they making different color latex gloves and shit, man. We need to get some purple gloves out this bitch, make us some money, man.
Oh, you know,
she got
niggas.
This mask.
You see niggas with all their designer face masks. Niggas got Louis Vuitton masks, Gucci masks. Niggas is out of control, cuz.
I saw this, man. I was like, this dude, we got to get like a somebody who spray paints and do the skulls and shit. Put a little filter inside of the shit.
Hey, let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think masks will become a part of our everyday wardrobe now since this shit?
Yeah.
Think so?
I feel like this some bullshit too.
Finna be out here like
Man, I ain't wearing no mask. I'm going raw face, bare face.
Yeah, I just start getting my skin on point. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm just trying to get on the market. You know, I gotta cover this all up. You know.
Yeah, can't see.
Because you know we gonna be the females gonna have like those Gucci masks. You know, ours gonna be all crystaled up and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they did back in Cleopatra days and shit. You ain't gonna really see a bitch then.
I wonder if they're gonna start making like special masks for the people with the big nostrils.
Ooh, the big nose ones. What about the fake noses? Because you know, get their nose done.
Why you talking about Bobby Norris like that for?
Big nano nose.
I think. Wait, Bobby supposed to be my what was step? What you call it? Step? My sister getting married and shit. So
yeah, brother.
I can't talk about Bobby.
Shit, Bobby better be careful. Bobby out there in the NY, man. They said that shit out there spreading like
oh yeah, he got that newspaper route. Bro, he gonna have to hang that route up, homie. He gonna have to hop on the back of that mail truck. You know what I'm saying? They giving out sanitizers to the mail carriers. You gonna have to catch a ride on that shit, man.
You better get some trash bags and duct tape that shit to his body. Put a mask on it.
Man, if I was a newspaper, I'd get a launcher and be launching them bitches to their door. You know, if they still, I didn't even know people still deliver newspapers like that, man. But he's the bike rider and throw papers. What neighborhood he in?
He ride a bike.
Right, that's what he do, right? He not the news. That's the newspaper thing. Right? Y'all remember that video game back in the day where you had to pedal and throw the newspapers? Oh, yeah, what was that on Nintendo?
Yeah, Paperboy.
Yeah, that was my shit. Wow. That remind me of Bobby right now, man. Goddamn, he riding that bike and shit. And, you know, you used to hit the person or whatever. You have to start over and shit. You got to throw it just right. Throw that shit just right.
Right.
Man, I see everybody walking their dogs. The dogs look all happy and shit. Like, man, this is the first time I've been out the house a month. You know, shit. All the pets look like happy and shit. Oh man.
Oh, let me ask y'all this:
if we do 5 animals,
if we do mandatory stay in, then it's gonna be a lot of PP and Dookie from dog owners inside their house, huh? They can't even take their dog out to use the bathroom. Oh man.
So yeah, that's why people getting out now. They walking dogs, buy animals, the shelters is empty and out and shit. That's what I'm like. That's the only way you can come outside if you walking your animal. So shit, I'm about to
I
got
don't
about
know. Do
10 of
you
them
think they
motherfuckers.
have the military personnel to enforce a full lockdown like that across Cali?
Oh hell yeah, they do, Blade. Trust me, if they want to slam this motherfucker, they can, man. Cause they gonna be making an example out of folks.
I don't know, man. I think they'll be able to cover the majority of the big cities in LA and the smaller sub cities. I don't think they'll be able to hold down all of Cali. I don't think they've got enough military personnel for that.
I go up. I'm about to go park. Yeah, I don't even think they had a. I mean, shoot, when that Katrina shit happened, they didn't have enough then. So shit, this shit ain't gonna have nothing. They probably taking some recruits. You probably
Yeah.
don't have to have. You could have a felony now and go in the military right about now,
Or
motherfucker.
the
Everybody can get in that motherfucker right now.
or the best bet they got is
Okay,
activating all the fucking
it's
army
open.
reserves. I mean, and national reserves.
Mhm. Oh shit, let me see if my time up because I was on reserve for I had to do 3 years after I got out. Let me see. No, I'm good. I'm good. Hey, I wish they would call my ass and be like, you stay. No, let me.
I'm talking about the water bottle.
All right, get the water bottle.
Oh my god.
All right, but yeah, if they activate, I,
Yeah, I was talking about
I'll
that
put
the
on my
other day.
uniform and stand outside.
I was
Y'all
talking about
get it.
that the other day. I was like, man, I'm not sure if I signed my soul to Uncle Sam when I was in the process of going to the army or not. No, I signed something.
I know they said like I had to do because I did 15 and I did my 3 reserve. So I'm trying to add like, okay, them 3 reserve up, right? Cause shit, I would they would try to calculate and miscalculate for shit.
Shit, you may get
Oh
activated, Lady
damn!
Jane. Like
I
I told
need.
Blade, Blade may fuck around and get activated.
At my door with a uniform and an M16. Oh my god.
Hey, they might go back to that draft. You remember 20 when they was 21 or 18? Remember,
Yeah.
gotta get that draft going. Y'all
Hey,
men, y'all sold up.
hey, Blade. Didn't they have enough people, nigga? They start activating motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Then they have enough motherfuckers to really close some shit down to keep motherfuckers under compliance.
Oh yeah. But if they
I
start
get. I think.
activating, I'm pretty sure in a situation like this, they'll hit you with a nice little check while they activate you.
Oh yeah, the military always pay good. Like we love when people like our Republicans in office. They pay the military so well. They just always military need this. So.
Yeah.
But back in the day, Republicans used to be the Democratic Party. So it's like, how people don't really know. It's like, because I can say I'm a Republican. Y'all be like, what the fuck? And I'll be like, yeah, because I'm in the military and they take care
Yeah.
of their military. Hey, I see the mail woman. She got to come on her. They holding the mail. See, that's all. Like you can't really. It's them if you do that. If you don't really mask and shit. If this shit is airborne and all that shit, everybody gonna say whatever they want to say. But you can't live your life and worry,
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you're right about that. You can't live your life in fear.
So, you
You out there droiding.
I don't have virus fear. I have financial fear.
Can't live in no type of fear. Period.
yeah, I'm
That
trying to
fear
find me a
will
place.
consume you.
Ain't no fear. Yep, and
So
whatever the fear say, fuck it and drop it. Whether it's I'm sorry, family, friends,
That fear.
relatives, ain't nothing. You can't maintain
Yeah.
your mental health.
That
Fucking with
fear
that.
will consume you, and it will manifest. It will manifest itself physically and create a situation for you where you will not like it.
Yeah, people say that you're supposed to take care of your family. Like I got family, who feel like I should be doing more or help. Hey, they in a situation. If you can, help them, yeah, but don't drive yourself mad again or death behind none of them. Like that, no more. Learn no more.
You might as well
Sad,
you
but
might as well get you some what do you call those mega ball what is it power mega million tickets while you at it. Fuck it.
Yeah, I've been doing that. I spend about $5 average. Just every week. Well, I can't find no damn parking spot. Man. And then I see people on the kids are on their porches. That be looking so sad too. The kids be looking depressed, like this is some bullshit. I'd rather be at school. Like they playing hopscotch on the porch and shit, throwing ball back and forth, and they got like, now come on now, why do y'all probably think somebody got murdered over there? So it's like,
Right.
I just feel bad for the kids because we ain't never used to be inside. They be trying to kick us outside. Now you can't go outside. Shit. Oh, and then the neighbor, I finally moved right, and the neighbor was tripping. I went down there,
Sounding like a droid.
it felt good. I was waiting on that moment.
Sound like a transformer over there. What's up, this nigga Cut One, man? It means I'm a gangster.
I don't know, man. You can
better
play ping
recognize
pong
my
with that nigga if
gangster.
you want to, man.
Better recognize my gangster. Okay. You thugging with teas and crumpets, nigga?
He over there soft as a crumpet.
Them crumpets kind of hard. About as hard as a wet crumpet. There you go. Shit. Damn, you been streaming for 3 hours, Tree. Damn.
Yeah, no, I'm about to hit the grocery store. You understand me?
Yeah.
About to hit the grocery
Oh,
store
yeah.
right now.
Shit.
Then one time in the morning too.
Shit,
You know.
don't just hit one grocery store, make rounds.
Nah,
Hit
yeah, I'm
about
making my
4 or 5
rounds
of
right
them.
now. Finna I feel kind of a little bit uncomfortable. This stranger nigga cut chasing me all around off the internet and shit. So I'm gonna get out into the real world.
Yeah, he don't exist in the real world. They pull him up
Nah.
on the internet, nigga. They erase him out of existence. God damn. Well, all right, I'm about to hop off and just do what it do.
But shizzle, bro, I'll probably be back
time.
on here. Yeah, program time. I'll probably be back on here a little bit later on if I feel like
right, man.
doing a live stream.
All right.
All right, then, player. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
For sure. All right, then, party people in a place to be. We up out of here. You understand me? I may start a live stream if I come back later on. But I'm going to get sideways. Like E40 and them. Yay. Have a good one. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Peace.